Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
I poured it in my mouth and it just wasn't going down.
My first beer was an IPA, the best IPA I've ever drank, mostly because I brewed it.
If you have a scale that is good for measuring cocaine, you're probably good for measuring hops on cocaine.
You're scaring me.
I think the information is awesome and the audio sucks.
Make some sugary water, throw some yeast in there.
And you're going to drink good beer.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's fine.
God damn it, man. Oh, my God. Oh, uh-oh.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
All right, welcome to the program, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We got a great show for you tonight. Happy to be back in the studio. I had a good weekend, Tasty, hanging out with my nephew.
Oh, Little Jay. Nice.
Justin's back in town, and
he's a great kid. I saw a picture of him. He's getting older, man.
He's 10.
So he's looking manly.
Yeah, the hangovers are getting harder on him.
I see it. But he's keeping up pretty good, huh?
He does okay.
All right.
Took him to a Giants game. That was cool.
Oh, that's a great time.
So had a nice weekend. Happy to be back in the studio though, because we got a really full show. We had a good show. Two different breweries on the program for you today. We got Riot Beer out of Capetown, South Africa. They're going to be on the show a little bit later. It'll be our first South African brewery in all the years.
Sounds right.
I remember that I used to communicate with some South African homebrewers years ago, and they wanted to do a segment, and I don't know, I felt like they didn't have internet there or something, and I never booked the show.
The drums wouldn't beat that far.
Yeah, whatever I was worried about. And so now we've got our first South African brewer on tonight in Riot Beer. But before that, we're going to be speaking to the boys from King Harbor Brewing out of Redondo Beach, California. I spent some time in Redondo Beach as a kid. There was a nice family that lived across the street from me. They would go fishing there every other day.
Wow.
I'd go fishing off the Redondo Beach Pier. Can you still do that? You can still fish off the Redondo Beach Pier?
Absolutely.
It's still allowed? Okay. Things just aren't allowed anymore. You know what I mean? You can't go on the beach. Don't have a dog on the beach, but you can still fish off the Redondo Pier.
Yeah, if you're in Hermosa, you can't smoke a cigarette, but if you're in Redondo, you can do anything you want.
You flick cigarettes at fish in Redondo.
That's recommended.
It's good bait.
You can have a dog on an airplane, but you cannot have one on the beach.
That's correct. Huh. Or on any trail in a national park.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's logic.
That is logic. So we've got King Harbor, and interestingly enough, they have brewed a beer along with our old friend Adam Corolla, who's been on the program before. So Adam's going to join us here in a few minutes to talk about Endless Rant IPA with the King Harbor guys. Now, if you're tuned in and you're listening close, you can come on down to the Hop Grenade and try the beers of King Harbor. We got a few of them on tap, and you can meet the guys. Got both owners and the brewmaster here in the studio. So we're going to talk about their beer, and you can come try it if you're local. So, like I said, we got a pretty full show, Tasty.
Perfect.
Before we get to announcements, I just wanted to mention really quickly that Tasty and I and JP and Doc went to a very nice memorial service yesterday for our fallen co-worker and volunteer and co-host and brewcaster Lee Shepard from Dr. Homebrew, and it was hosted at Faction Brewing Company, and it was really cool. It was more for the beer community. I think there's going to be a memorial service for his family at some other point, but this was for all the homebrewers and the homebrew clubs and the pro brewers and all of us to go out there and just say nice words about him and just kind of share memories. And I just wanted to bring it up quickly because I thought it was really nice, and it made me think, like, if I kick the bucket, that's a nice thing to do, right? Like, go to a brewery, right?
Yeah, at least half a dozen people that show up.
Yeah, I was thinking at least a tiny fraction of who showed up for Lee would, like you and Doc.
Of course, we got some more bad will to spread, too. It could get smaller and smaller over time.
That's true. It does keep getting worse.
Yeah, so I wonder.
I thought you wanted your memorial held in a strip club. Didn't we have that conversation?
We did.
Sounds right.
I'm glad you reminded me of that.
Because that's why you pay me.
The thing is, I was going to put it off on the poor hop grenade, which would be a terrible idea, right? Like, who wants to sit around sad in here? Thank you. I stand corrected. Lee's memorial was fantastic, right? But I want everyone to get nice grieve jobs at the strip club.
That's where you're weeping as you get your the tug, right?
It's lubricated by tears.
Yeah, right.
For just a brief description. But Lee's memorial was much classier than that, and I just wanted to mention it because I know a lot of our listeners really care about Lee and they're going to miss him. And I got up and spoke just very briefly and spoke on behalf of our listeners too. I wanted his family to know how important he was to you folks who tune in to Dr. Homebrew, because we were talking about how important he was to the Bay Area beer scene, but he had listeners all over the world.
Yes,
and
it's good that everybody, his family, got to hear that.
Yeah,
they got to hear all these other things. His college friends chimed in.
Yeah.
Some commercial brewers chimed in.
Exactly.
His drinking friends, his homebrew friends. Every element of his life was represented.
It was beautiful, and some of the beer from his fridge was on tap. I had his Russian Imperial Stout that was it was in his refrigerator when he passed, and so they brought out a few of his beers, and it just was really nice. So I wanted to let the listeners know that we did that for Lee, and it was a nice experience. All right, let me get through a few announcements because we got so much to do today. The Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival is coming up this weekend, the 15th and 16th. Tasty, you going to make it this year? What do you think? You usually go to this one,
15th and 16th.
It's this, isn't that this weekend? It's like this Saturday. It's this Friday and Saturday. So Pleasant Hill Blues and Brews Festival. Yeah. We've been there for several years, and it's a great deal. It's coming up the 15th and 16th. Pre-party and concert and a homebrew contest is on Friday night from 6 to 9 p.m. So that'll be a good time. You can go to bluesandbrewsfestival.com for more information and on how to participate. They got music from the Big Jangle, Greg Wright, Frankie G and the Conviction, Carumpus Room, Gigi Amos, and the Indecision Band. So that'll all be happening on Saturday. Friday is the pre-party and the homebrew contest, and then the actual beer festival and the blues on Saturday. So go check it out, bluesandbrewsfestival.com for your tickets. Also coming up, this is a little ways out, on August 7th, the Hop Grenade Tap Room here, where we broadcast from, is having our second anniversary party.
Already?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know, isn't that quick?
Amazing.
I was telling somebody today it's our second anniversary, and I stopped in my tracks for a second. It seems like just yesterday, Moscow.
Yeah. It's tomorrow is the to the day. The 7/12/14 is the day. So, tomorrow is exactly 2 years in business.
I'm going to celebrate by not coming in.
Perfect. I might do the same.
Great way to start year 3.
Right?
Do less than year 2.
Yeah. You know how we roll, Tasty.
Oh, sure. I see this.
All right. So we are having it on, I believe it's a Sunday, August 7th. We're going to have a great time doing the same thing we did last year, where we're just, we save up some good beer, we order a lot more good beer, and we just fill our taps with fantastic beer. No gimmicks. We just serve you the best beer of the year.
Our cellar, man. Our cellar is just looking amazing right now.
Yeah. And that's all we do. So come on out. Have a good time with us. Save the date. It's August 7th. Few things you can do to support the network. Don't forget that Moscow has his original artwork. It's the Hop Life gear, and you can go to, is it hoplifegear.com?
Hop Life Store.
I always get that. hoplifestore.com. You can also buy it right here at the Hop Grenade. It's got prints and T-shirts, and if you haven't seen it, go give it a look. It's really cool stuff. It's Hop's Living Life. Also, you can support us by doing your Amazon shopping, not only in the U.S., but also in the U.K. Just click the Amazon link on our homepage to do your shopping as normal. We get a little piece of the action. It's a great way to support us without spending any extra cash. If you do have extra cash, just sign up and become a member of the BN Army, and that gets you into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway. More Beer, the sponsor of this session and every session that we we do. Gives away $100 every month to the BN Army, and we just do a random drawing for everybody who is entered. The more you donate, the more chances to win. So do that. It's a great way to support us, keep us alive, keeps me sane. Okay, it doesn't keep me sane, but it does keep us alive. Boy, did my staff fuck me over again this morning, too. Or today. It was this morning for me. It was like 3 o'clock. We'll talk about it all later, Tasty. Okay? We'll get through it later. Get all these updates and more over on Twitter and Facebook. Send your show ideas to... Bevo, right? Yeah. Send your show ideas to bevo at thebrewingnetwork.com and send feedback over to feedback at thebrewingnetwork.com. We were going to do a Twitter game today, but then Beardy called in sick. JP's out sick. He's having a colonoscopy tomorrow.
Oh.
I think he's fine, everybody. Like, don't worry. Well, I don't know if it's regular.
He's got some issue, maybe?
Something, but hopefully it's not like the last time with the thyroid and the whole thing. But he has to, like, from 6 p.m. tonight, he's got to, like, drink a solution.
A gallon of this stuff.
So he's already started the solution, so I think it's from, like... He might be in the bathroom right now.
I feel like he should call us every 30 minutes and let us know how it's going.
Oh, yeah.
From the bathroom.
From the throne, of course. We want to hear the audio.
So that's right, JP's not. So JP's got a legitimate excuse. I mean, who wants any part of that?
Have you seen an actual doctor's note? Because he might just be playing the new Pikachu Pokemon game.
Yeah. So new we can't even say it.
If that's the case, I got to give him props for being ballsy enough to throw down colonoscopy as the right.
Well, he knew you would never question it.
Yeah,
it's too specific and weird.
Who's going to say that? Yeah. Good call. So I do wish him well. He goes in tomorrow morning.
The hard part is tonight.
Right?
I'll say that.
Because they just put you to sleep after.
You go to count backwards from 10. You go 10, 9, and you're done.
Okay, perfect.
Next thing you know, the guy, he's waking you up. And
with a little tickle.
Like, wow, I feel like I just been to the Sutro baths or something.
I feel like I just went to the wrong bachelor party.
The Sutro baths, Tasty?
Yeah, that's good old.
I think those have not been around for 40 years. It's now the ruins off of the San Francisco coast, isn't it?
But have you never been to a party at those ruins, man?
Yeah, those things nearly rocked.
That's a good time.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
That was pre-everything.
Yeah. So we'll be missing JP and Beardy tonight, and also the Twitter game because of that. I know everyone's devastated. There's no Twitter game tonight. I'm sure our guests were like, wait a minute. It was in our contract that you would do a Twitter game if we arrived.
Tom just slid me a note and said, I need a grieve job.
Said, I'm out. All right. So we've got Phil McDaniel in the studio. Phil is the co-owner and head brewer. Welcome, Phil.
Thank you.
And then it's Tom, not Tim.
Yeah, it's Tom.
It's Tom
with an O.
Dunbabin. Right?
Did I put Tim?
Babin.
Did I type Tim?
In the email.
No, I did not.
But you introduced... I just changed it now.
Are you sure my email said Tim?
No, you're right. I might have typed it and not copied and pasted it. So,
do I get an extra grieve job for again being called Tim?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Bevo hands them out at the end of the show, but you do have to make
No,
her
I don't.
cry
I delegate
first.
them to the staff, and they do them for you.
So that's the only thing she delegates. All right, so we got Phil and Tom in the studio from King Harbor. We've also got their beer on tap, and I believe Adam Corolla is calling in to talk about it. So you guys started doing an IPA with Adam.
We did, yes.
Okay. How did that even come about?
Oh, there's a really good story. So being huge fans of Corolla and then finding out that one of my childhood friends had a great connection to his former assistant, Jay, we told him that we could do the beer that he wanted to do, and so we decided to have Phil bum rush Adam in a parking lot with a case of King Harbor IPA and say, you can have this if you let us brew a beer for you. And
after he was pepper sprayed.
Well, yeah, it started with the mace, then the pepper spray, then a swift kick to the nuts. And you know what? Phil's here and he's alive.
But apparently he really needed a six-pack of beer because he was like, yeah, all right, I'll take the beer. and then go ahead and do a beer.
Yeah,
it worked.
It actually worked.
He even cracked one open on the spot there. So there might be a picture floating around of Phil and Adam chugging a few IPAs in the parking lot of a Ralph's.
All right, well, I think we have Adam on the line as well. Adam, are you with us?
I am.
We're just learning about how you were bum rushed in a parking lot to work with these jokers.
It shouldn't be called bum rush because I was rushed, but I'm not the bum. Phil's more the bum, and he rushed me. So there needs to be some clarification.
Phil does look a little bummy. Phil, do me a favor and move over to this chair right here for me, because for some reason your microphone has decided to leave you. So, move over there so we can hear from you. So, Adam, you met these guys in a parking lot, and they said, hey, we really want to brew an IPA for you. You had never met them before? This was really just a random encounter of two brewers running at you?
Yeah, I was standing out there with my partner, Mike August. He told me like 2 years ago that it costs $1 kajillion to do a beer, and we were driving out to Irvine to do a show at the Improv, and we both just sort of let it go at that. He got some piece of erroneous information, and probably Stone Cold Steve Austin wanting him not to brew our beer or something. But either way, we were just told it's too expensive, so we said, all right, well, we always wanted to do a beer, but we never did. And then at some point we ran into Phil, and Phil's like, no, we'll do it for you. You can do this. And they did an amazing job. Well, we didn't run into Phil. He accosted us.
You got accosted by Phil. Phil, what is the deal with that? It's not crazy expensive for somebody to brew a beer. You just need a partner brewery.
Yeah, they call it a contract brewing, and I think Adam and his team weren't looking at contract brewing. I believe they're looking at building a brewery from the ground up.
That's what it sounds like, right?
That is pretty expensive. We know that for sure.
Cart before the horse.
But contract brewing, as long as the two groups involved are willing to or interested in working together, it's a great way to go.
Sure.
We have a bunch of very shiny, nice equipment, and we'd love to maximize the capacity. So cranking out some Adam Corolla beer is a great deal for us.
So tell me the deal then. Did you guys just say, hey, we just want to put your name on it, don't worry about it? Or Adam, did you have some input in this beer?
Oh, yeah. I'd never... I'd never want to just put my name on something, unless it was for money. But
right, of course, which in beer,
there's no money in beer.
There clearly isn't.
Yeah. In which case, yeah, I'm wide open. If someone's got a bad tool or something they want me to endorse.
Sure.
No, I had an idea of a couple of IPAs that I really liked a lot. I can't remember if it was Stone and Pizza Port or something like that, but I had there's a couple IPAs that I really enjoyed. And so, I wasn't going to reinvent anything. I just said, look, I really like these IPAs. And they went off and brewed them up and, basically landed in the middle of these two IPAs that I like. And right out of the gate, it was, 8.5 out of 10 in terms of what I was looking for. I thought this was going to be a pretty long process of, no, do it this way, no, too far, come back, or something like that. But we got the first round, and it was really good. I just wanted it to finish a little bit differently, so we talked about that. We did a second round, and we were ready to go.
Do you know? Have you ever homebrewed or done any of that nonsense? Like, do you know about the beer ingredients, or did you really just kind of describe, a beer and give these examples and go, just kind of give me that?
No, I just said give me that. I have no history in it. I don't really. I have a sort of build gene and a wrench on gene and a monkey with stuff gene, but I don't really have a brew or bake or. I'm not even a barbecue guy. I just feel like, I don't know, for some reason it takes too much time and it's too, I can't make beer better than King Harbor, and I can't make barbecue better than Dr. Hoggly Woggly's Tyler, Texas. And so it's like, I just let the professionals handle it, but I'll just do something else, make some money, give it to them, and eat their barbecue and drink their beer.
Right.
That's kind of my plan.
It's a good philosophy. I do feel like you're becoming like the king of all alcohol, though. Like last time you were on the show, we were doing Mangria, and now you got the IPA.
What's next?
When's the vodka coming out?
Yeah.
Well, we were actually talking about doing like a hard lemonade or hard cider or something like that, because, like, geez, you taste like Mike's hard lemonade, and it doesn't even taste like lemonade. Like, it's got some weird chemical something in it. So, yeah, I was thinking about doing something like that, but for now we're focusing on the beer, and it's really come out great, and it's doing great, and people, the most important thing is people really like it, which is number one for me. And anything that I'm involved with, whether it's a TV show or podcast or beer or whatever, people have to like it.
That's a good call. It's a good philosophy in life, Adam.
Well, you know, it doesn't, you know, all this stuff is pretty, you know, most of the stuff I endeavor to do is pretty low percentage chances of success. You know, podcasting,
right?
Making documentaries or romantic comedies or you know, writing books or all that kind of stuff. Mangria, whatever it is, it's all pretty low percentage stuff in terms of will it work out. But it's like if the product's not there, it's 0% chance of working out.
True.
And if it's good, it's still probably not going to work out. But at least you have a statistical chance of it working out. I mean, honestly, that's the way it is with TV shows. Like, I've done a ton of good TV shows. It just didn't work out. Like, I've done I just got done doing Catch a Contractor, and everyone's like, "Oh, we love that show. That show's so good. I watched the show with our kids." Like, well, we did 3 seasons, and now we're done. And they're like, "Oh, we love that show." It's like, that's how it goes.
I know, it's the worst. Yeah, well, where were you when I needed season 4? I love the show. I like your attitude of forget shooting for the stars. You kind of shoot for the hills. Like, you know, like everything's sort of difficult. And then, but I agree with you.
Somebody's got to shoot a berm now or then.
Yeah. But you're right.
Because that's when them Germans are hiding in the berm.
Someone's got to keep shooting for the berm. And God damn it if it's not going to be Adam Corolla.
That's right.
Phil, you're a fan and so of Adam's, and then now you get to brew a beer with him. You know, tell me about the experience.
It's pretty surreal. Kind of knocking stuff off the bucket list as we go through this King Harbor adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay told me that he was going to arrange a meeting with Adam Corolla at the Ralph's, and I think it turned out Jay didn't tell Adam anything, and then I just had to introduce myself, and Adam just looked really confused for a little bit.
Right.
And then, but from then on, it's turned into this really cool kind of business relationship where we've been over to his studios, checked out all his race cars, which is pretty awesome, and been working with him on a beer, and like Adam was saying, it's really cool. He is very involved in the flavor profile of the beer. It was us working with Adam to create the beer that he wanted. So
great.
Actually working with Adam, like I'm going to work to do this rather than being just some random fan that maybe got to meet him at one of his shows has been pretty cool.
You didn't think it was strange that Tom said you had to go to like the Ralph's parking lot at 9:30 p.m. and pretend to be, you know, hey, you forgot your milk, Mr. Corolla?
No, I did think it was strange. Luckily, Tom and Will, the other owner, were out of town. So like, Phil, you have to do this. There's no one else around. So I was the one who had to do it. But luckily, it all worked out.
I would be honored to do it, too. I think it is a lot of fun when you get to collaborate with another person that you admire, that you've been a fan of. This is your art, brewing the beer. Mm-hmm. So it must be cool to produce something that matches up to Adam's expectations.
Yeah, it's been great.
What did he gravitate towards, like hops-wise? What was his flavor profile that you guys used?
Yeah, so the two IPAs that Adam was referring to was Pizza Port Swami's and St. Archer IPA. And those two beers...
Oh, that's right, St. Archer.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay.
So those two beers are basically... Swami is classic West Coast with the C hops, the Centennial, Cascade, the Pine type of IPAs, old school. And then St. Archer is the new school kind of tropical West Coast with the Mosaic, the Citra, all those tropical flavors. So it's kind of interesting that Adam liked two kind of different types of West Coast IPA. So his IPA, Endless Rant, we just blended the two together.
Got it.
Which I was happy with because it made a unique IPA. It wasn't just another Mosaic Bomb or another old school Centennial Cascade IPA. It was a little bit of each. So there's Cascade for the old school. There is Azaka, which is one of our favorite new tropical kind of new school hops, and a little bit of Columbus to tie it together.
Okay.
So it's a blend of old school and new school West Coast IPAs.
I love that it's super dry. The tropical definitely comes out. I am also glad it's not another Mosaic Bomb. I'm a fan of that hop, actually, but, it has its place, and I like that it's subtle on this one. I think you guys kind of nailed it.
Yeah, it tastes great.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, how do you have to... Are you, not able to drink much of this because of the Vinny diet?
Oh, Vinny.
No, that's Vinny Tortorich. That's Howie Mandel's nutritionist guy. No, honestly, what I do, and it's sort of my overall life gestalt, is I work pretty hard, and then when I'm done working pretty hard, I enjoy myself. Like, I'm not one of these people that is punishing myself on the weekends. I work a lot of weekends. I work a lot of jobs, but when I'm done working and I'm done skipping my rope and I'm done taking my kids and dog for a walk, I reward myself with a beer. Like, I've always said, look, the reason I'm never going to turn into a full-blown alcoholic is because I enjoy it too much,
Right.
I really, it's the same thing I do with a lot of stuff I like. It's just I need it out. I ration it out, so it's not something that turns into something. So then you never have to stop because, you're built. We're all okay with having a piece of pie a couple times a week and having a few beers and even having a couple cigarettes. Like, we're all right with a couple or a few or a couple or one or two, but we're not okay with doing it at 8 a.m. on Monday. And so,
right. Speak for yourself.
If you really, and also, by the way, also it all kind of loses its meaning. Like, if you don't sort of wait for the reward part of life, like if you live in a it's why I always say that, like, winning the lottery be just the worst thing that could ever happen to me or anybody I know, and I've never wished it for my kids, because you just lose all gravity. Like, you got to have a gravitational pull in life. But for me, I definitely like working hard and then just cracking that Endless Rant at the end of the day and turning on my Sports Center and just reward myself.
I love your life's philosophy. It's a good idea. It's akin to the everything. It's not even everything in moderation. It's like you are having spikes of probably too much beer and probably too much work and probably everything. But you can't just stay on the constant high. It's impossible. It's possible, I suppose. But then,
but it loses meaning.
But then you're on celebrity rehab and you're gone.
That's right.
That's just how it goes. All right, Adam, I know you're busy.
Yeah, it loses its meaning.
It loses its meaning. Exactly. You don't enjoy that, like you say, hard work for a day and then crack the IPA. It tastes that much better. If you've been having the IPA since 8 a.m., well, now you're just drunk. And who wants that? Well, I'm glad you're brewing a beer with these guys. The beer tastes fantastic. Where can people purchase the beer right now, and what's the plan, guys? Is it just at King Harbor?
Well, I know, you can go online to CorollaDrinks.com and find out where you can get it and where it might be near you, but I'm not sure what the immediate plan is, but maybe Phil knows.
Okay. Phil, any idea?
I thought Adam knew.
I thought former assistant Jay knew.
Saw this coming.
It's in the works.
He probably does.
Now you know why it was so cheap to brew with these guys, Adam. No fucking clue what they're doing.
I think we drank it all, right? Yeah.
I think another Ralph's meetup is in order.
Yeah. Go to Corolla Drinks. Yeah, I hear Tim Allen's going to be at the Ralph's out in Tustin.
All right.
Phil, get on it.
I'm on it.
Phil's going to lurk out there.
Yeah, just waiting. All right, CorollaDrinks.com. You can get some information there. And so, but as of now, guys, it's not available at the brewery even.
You tell me it is sometimes, right?
It's available at the brewery limited.
Okay.
When we do a fresh batch, we'll have a keg on tap. We'll have some of the bottles for sale.
Cool.
But most of it goes through Corolla Drinks for distribution right now.
Got it.
So CorollaDrinks.com is where you can find where you can get it close to you. But if you're near King Harbor Brewing Company, Redondo Beach, L.A., Orange County area, just pay attention to our social media. We always throw it up when we're going to tap something.
Okay, great. Adam, congratulations on making a great beer with these guys, and thanks for being on the show.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Talk soon.
Take care. Let us know when you make that next drink. He's going to do that.
Oh, yeah. He'll blow a call, I'm sure.
He's writing it down right now. He's making a note.
Yeah, he's like, oh, hang on. Put me on hold. I'll get your cell phone number. All right. Well, that's fun. The beer really is very nice. And then we've got some other beers on tap from you guys tonight, too. What else did you bring us?
We have 5 beers on tap tonight. We have the King Harbor IPA. We have the Coconut IPA, which is our core IPA with a ton of toasted coconut.
Really? Tell me about that beer. Tell me more about where that goes in the process and who came up with the Coconut IPA.
So who came up with it? Like all the beers at King Harbor, we all try to put in a little input.
Good.
Generally, it's after having a lot of beers and then waking up the next day and trying to figure out what the hell we talked about.
Yeah.
But the King Harbor IPA, our core IPA, has a ton of tropical fruit character from the hops. It is a hoppy juice bomb from the El Dorado and the Azaka. A lot of pineapple, mango, cherry. And so when we were thinking of fun things to do with that beer for the tasting room, coconut kind of went well with it because we're big fans of Mai Tais. If we're not drinking beer, we're probably drinking a Mai Tai.
Really? I don't think I've ever heard brewers come in and say that's their other go-to.
Well, maybe it's just mine. I don't know.
Yeah. Tom said that. I didn't say that.
I like
Phil
Mai
said
Tais,
that.
too. I'm just saying, I never heard of it go like, if I'm not drinking beer, I'm drinking 8 gallons of rum with a little juice in it.
Yeah. Or that's when they don't have Midori.
Right.
Well, Midori first, Mai Tai second.
Right.
Okay.
So the coconut just went really well with the flavor profile of the hops that are in that beer. So we have a chef down the street, asked her to toast up some. We did a small batch, and it came out awesome. But, I'll let Phil talk about kind of the technical side of where the coconut goes in and why and all that fun stuff.
So it's completely finished King Harbor IPA just before carbonating. Clarified as well. So clarified, finished, chilled. And we get... For 30 barrels of beer, we do 100 pounds of coconut.
Wow.
Fresh coconut, unsweetened. We have, like Tom said, a local chef that has a catering kitchen. She toasts it, does a really nice, even just light brown toast on it.
Nice.
And we get it over in about a half hour, throw it in the tank, and then transfer over 30 barrels of IPA onto it, and then it's a week on the coconut.
Okay,
and that's what we do.
Wow, that sounds nice already. I've been to Maui Brewing Company when they're toasting their coconut too. Mm-hmm. It smells amazing. It's such you want it in beer. Like you walk in there and you just go,
We eat it by the handfuls.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You're a little bit for the tank.
Yeah. Oh, we spilled that on accident. Yeah.
Right. You can tell a coconut IPA day because at the end of the day, no one can talk because our mouths are so dried out from eating handfuls of toasted coconut.
Right.
So when Phil says 100 pounds go in, I would say maybe 95.
Okay, yeah.
The other 5 we're just gorging ourselves on.
A good 5 to the brewers.
Yeah.
What's that like in the tank afterward when you rack off?
We put it in mesh bags.
Okay.
So it actually, the system is great. I'm really happy with it. It's efficient. It's quick. So we do the mesh bags. It takes about 10 giant mesh bags for the coconut. We transfer the beer out from the bottom of the cone. We don't even use the racking port. So the beer needs to literally go through the coconut as a coconut filter, and it just rinses out all that last bit of coconut flavors into the bright and then carbonate in the bright. So we literally get all the coconut flavor out of that coconut, and then it's just open the manway up and pull out the giant bags.
Not so bad.
It's really easy.
Okay.
Usually when you get into a little more non-traditional ingredients, it can get a little crazy. Working at the brewery, some of the processes we went through were a nightmare, but this one is really smooth. That's why we're making so much of it. It's a really efficient process for it. We're using natural ingredients. It's just great.
And popular at the brewery, I imagine?
Yeah. This was another beer that started off as just a little 5-gallon batch. People had it, loved it, started talking about it, took some to a festival, just kept growing. Accounts started calling for it, and then bottle shops wanted it. So now we put it in bombers and draft. And we've been doing big bottle runs every month, and we almost can't keep the draft in stock. So we're starting to do about 2 batches of this, 2 production batches every month. So
excellent.
Yeah, it's been a really fun beer to watch it grow.
Sure. What size system do you guys have?
15-barrel brew house, and then 6 30-barrel fermenters right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And Phil, you're no slouch in the brewing industry. You've been at Stone, you've been at the brewery, you've been at a couple others too, right? You went to Siebel?
I went to Siebel. I was at Bootleggers in Orange County for a little bit.
Okay.
And then went to Siebel and got the opportunity to go to Stone, but Stone on the ground level. So that was a great learning process for me, working my way up throughout Stone.
Yeah.
And basically got to see every step of the process and ended up just running the brew house, which is also a really cool thing to do. And then got the opportunity to go to the brewery as their lead brewer. So worked really closely. I don't know if you know Tyler King, but Tyler and Patrick worked really closely with them and did the whole brewery thing for 2 years, which was quite an adventure.
Yeah,
it was awesome. It was.
They're like a brewmaster incubator at the brewery, right? Like,
and Jay, we were over at Jay's place earlier today.
Jay Goodwin from the Rare Barrel.
Yeah, so you guys know Jay. Yeah, that was great. I mean, I was extremely happy at that company. It was a lot of fun.
Great. Well, I'm happy to see you out on your own with this venture. And there's 3 of you partners or more? What do you got going on?
Yeah, there's 3 of us that wrote the business plan together, came up with the ideas that run it, all of equal say in the beers we're going to do. Generally, it's Will, the third guy. He and I kind of pestering Phil to do some wacky stuff, and Phil dialing it in and making it drinkable and, having his input as well. But Will had to stay back for this trip.
Okay. Someone's got to work.
He's a little too important to take on the road. Okay. If we lose him, we're kind of screwed. But
have to go in different airplanes. And
yeah, exactly. It's a nightmare.
You can't all go down together. Is that
exactly?
It?
Yeah. He's too important.
Yeah, he can't lose him because he knows where all the money's stashed.
Yeah, that's pretty important.
In the banana stand.
Yeah. There's always money in the banana stand. Wait a minute.
Right.
He keeps it in the banana stand. Will, unfortunately, hopefully he's listening, but I'm sure he's doing other things right now.
Sure.
Will, who handles kind of the finance side, I do a lot of our sales and distribution. Phil runs everything on the brew floor and in the brewery. And so the 3 of us kind of put our heads together and do what King Harbor does. And it's a lot of fun. It's, we all have unique ideas and unique backgrounds and create different outcomes.
Were you all from the Redondo Beach area, or did you choose that because it seemed like it needed a brewery?
I'm from Hermosa Beach. I don't know if anyone listening is familiar with the area. Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, all kind of the South Bay there. So I grew up about a mile and a half from where the brewery is, and my wife and our daughter still live on the same block I grew up on.
Cool.
So I met Will through our now wives playing volleyball together. This is such the South Bay, Los Angeles beach story.
It really is so far.
Playing volleyball on the beach, drinking a Miller Lite, and we're like, man, screw this, let's start a brewery.
I love it. Yeah.
So we kidnapped Phil, and we're like, Phil, make beer.
Who was a lifeguard at the time, clearly.
Bronze lifeguard. He was saving a drowning family.
Yeah. He looked up and he's like, man, do I need a good craft beer right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's the Hollywood version of craft beer.
Of course.
But so Will and I met. We started talking. He had actually been working on a brewery project in Florida where he's from, and he had since moved out to the South Bay. And we were both interested in same ideas about beer. We wanted to do it in the South Bay. And so we met Phil. We put an ad out online. I think it was Match.com.
As you would.
Yeah.
It's all about love, for sure.
It is about love.
And it's true love. It is.
Yeah.
And so being from the area, seeing what the area could do, and then also seeing how the area was taking to breweries popping up. Some of our favorite breweries, Smog City, Monkish, El Segundo, were opening up, and people were going nuts for them. And we had ideas on beer that were a little different, and Phil had the same ideas. We all kind of thought, these are amazing beers, but we want to do this, and we think the South Bay would be a great space to do it. So just so happened we were there, and Phil grew up not far down the street. Born and raised in L.A., so we were all, basically from the area.
Okay. Well, the beers are tasting great. Thank you for bringing them in. Folks, you can go to KingHarborBrewing.com and check out more information. They got a great website over there. You do have to be 21 or older, I noticed, to enter. It's a whole thing now.
How do you get in if you're not? Like, what if you just want to read?
Well, first of all, they trust everyone to be honest.
Oh, it's the honor system?
And check the 21 and older box.
Oh, okay.
As seems to be the standard in the industry.
Yeah.
You don't have to run your ID through the scanner or nothing like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. Our guest, our last show, theirs was confusing, like what to click, and I thought I was clicking that I was over 21, but clearly I wasn't, because every time I clicked enter, it took me to SesameStreet.com. Like that was their default if you're under 21. And I almost walked out and told them, like, hey, I think someone hacked your site, because every time, because I'm slow, and I realized it just was backwards.
Someone hacked your brain.
Yes, hacked my brain.
Yeah, they wanted us so a 10-year-old wouldn't know what to do. And you.
And me. Exactly. So go to KingHarborBrewing.com. You'll figure it out. There's a very clear box to check, and you can learn more about it. The beers are really tasting great. Thanks for being in here, guys.
Definitely.
Thank you for having us.
I think it's exciting that you're brewing something with Adam Corolla. The IPA tastes great, so I encourage people to look for that and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and just give my endorsement here that says this is not a gimmick. This is a real beer. This is a good IPA. And you know what I mean? Like, sometimes that happens. Like, in fact, I've even done interviews where it was a gimmick.
Slap your name on something.
This is a fantastic IPA. Good job, Phil. So,
thank you.
Yeah, you guys should check it out. And then we've got their beer on tap. So they're going to hang out here at the Hop Grenade for a little while, talk to our guests and our patrons. And if you're in the area, you should come by and check it out. We'll probably also have the beer on tap for a few days. So come on by the Hop Grenade if you want to check it out. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for being in here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
All right, we're going to the bar.
Yeah, hit that bar. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take ourselves a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to our very first South African brewery guest on the show, Riot Beer. So give us just a couple minutes, and we'll be back with Riot Beer. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Brewing great beer is a process of continuous learning, and the best books on every aspect of brewing can be found at Brewer's Publications, with more than 50 awesome titles like Modern Homebrew Recipes by Gordon Strong, Designing Great Beers, the Ultimate Guide to Brewing Classic Beer Styles by Ray Daniels, American Sour Beers, Innovative Techniques for Mixed Fermentations by Michael Tonsmeyer, For the Love of Hops, the practical guide to aroma, bitterness, and the Culture of Hops by Stan Hieronymus. And Radical Brewing, Recipes, Tales, and World-Altering Meditations in a Glass by Randy Mosher, plus many, many more. These are the books and the authors with the knowledge to push your brewing farther than you thought possible. And you'll find them all at fine homebrew and book retailers everywhere. And visit the website at brewerspublications.com. Brewers Publications, all the best on beer and brewing.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Marin Brewing Company in Northern California has been making award-winning beers for more than 25 freaking years. Today, I want to tell you about their new 12-ounce cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale. The good stuff, Mount Tam is bright gold, 5.5% ABV to keep you feeling good, and has been winning awards since 1989. If you're visiting the Bay Area, get your butt out to Marin Brewing Company. They pour tasty beers and serve great food every day until midnight. Come in for a tour, stay for the food, and pick up a 6-pack of cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale to enjoy at home, camping, biking, or whatever the hell you do. Owner Brendan Moylan has this to say about Marin Brewing beers.
It's freaking awesome.
Marin Brewing has won more than 100 gold medals in international competitions. Check out marinbrewing.com for all their award-winning beers, food, and merch. Marin Brewing Company in Larkspur, California. Award-winning taste, refreshing finish. It's freaking awesome.
Brewcasters are back. 888-401-BEER.
Whatever.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for sticking with us, and to King Harbor for being on the show. Adam Corolla and their new IPA, Endless Rant IPA. Great name, obviously, for an Adam Corolla beer. I also want to remind you not to forget about our good friends over at Great Fermentations. Yeah, that's right. A wonderful sponsor of ours, greatfermentations.com. They're giving away free yeast for a year right now. All you have to do is enter and provide your name and a valid email address. The lucky winner will be randomly selected on July 16th. So it's coming up quick here, folks. Like them on Facebook at Great Fermentations, and that's GR8 Fermentation. To be notified of more deals like this in the future. But you can find them on Instagram and Twitter. Same thing, GR8 Fermentation, or online at greatfermentations.com. And the deal is they're going to draw a winner, and basically you're going to receive 2 packs of yeast per month for an entire year. So that's pretty cool.
That's a lot of beers.
Right? That's like how Doc used to brew. You know, 2 packs a month kind of brewing.
Oh, at least 2 packs a month. Are you kidding me?
Back in the day.
Yeah. Well, when you're pitching large...
Yeah, and you need that.
You need that.
Yeah. So check out our good friends over at Great Fermentation, fermentations.com, and support them for supporting us. Plus, give yourself a chance to win some free yeast. All right. As I mentioned, we've got our first South African brewery on the program today, which I'm really excited about. We have Marc Fourie. Marc, am I saying your name right?
Yeah. How's it? Hi, Justin. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for being on the program.
No, it's a pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having us.
So you're from the brewery, which is Riot Beer, from Capetown, South Africa. Do I have that right?
Yeah, that's correct. We, if you're hearing a little bit of background noise, we're getting battered by a storm right now. So, we brew on the southern tip of Africa. It's a little place called Capetown. And we're in a little neighborhood called Woodstock, which is a brewing hub of Capetown. There's like 5 breweries in a very small space, and
that's cool.
Yeah, we're trying to make some good beer.
So you're already perpetuating my stereotype of South Africa. That's how I see it, as like either beautiful sunshine, the most amazing place to be, or the worst, most terrifying storm I could ever be in. That's how I picture the place.
Yes, something like that. I mean, it gets its name, the Cape of Storms, for a reason.
Sure.
And it definitely put down many an old ship in the old days. But winter can be a bit of both. You get these amazing storms that roll through, but the weekend that just passed, we had absolutely beautiful 24-degree days on Saturday and Sunday. So it's a real combination.
Okay. So you say it's a bit of a brewing hub there. How long has Riot Beer been open?
We opened our doors for business in October 2014. It feels like 2 decades ago, let alone 2 years ago.
I bet, man.
So it's been as I think that that part of the story of opening a brewery is always the same, no matter where you go. It's pretty hard in the first year. It's pretty grueling, and try and find your feet in the market and try and find your feet in your own brewery is quite challenging. So yeah, we've been going since October 2014, and but setting up for about 6 to 9 months before that.
Okay.
We have. One of the issues that we have in South Africa right now in respect of new nano and microbreweries opening up is around licensing, and having the right building to be able to house your business in and house your brewery in. And there's a bit of red tape, bit of bureaucracy. We have a bunch of rules that other countries don't have, and we just got to work around it.
Can you?
If you want to make beer, you got to work around it.
So I wonder if you can give any examples of that, because when you say red tape and bureaucracy, honestly, that's the world over. Every brewery we've ever interviewed, and it's different by state and it's different by county here in the U.S. But I wonder, you kind of make it sound like maybe there's some other standout things that are particularly difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously having done more of my research on brewery work in the UK, because I used to live in London before I moved back to my hometown of Capetown.
Okay.
There the licensing laws are a little bit different, and I guess I wasn't prepared. It's very much attached to your building here. It's very difficult to move that license once you've received it and attached it to the building that you're actually operating out of.
Okay.
But I mean, look, I think I think also the engine room in South Africa that processes such licenses and things like that of an administrative nature. The engine room is a bit slower, and you've got to get back onto African time. So we're trying to it's very constrictive for the new brewer, because you have to wait quite some time to go through all the different sort of departments in order to get the right licensing and the right sort of certification in order to start going.
And what are they concerned about? Is it like health department type things? Are you part of the food licensing?
Yeah. There's obviously the main sort of liquor license, which is obviously your on and off consumption microbrewing license. But then there's also labeling sort of permissions that have to be granted from the Department of Agriculture. Then obviously you have to register with your exercise paying authority, which is SARS, South African Revenue Service here in South Africa. So there's a bunch of sort of administrative stuff that has to be achieved before you can actually get going. And quite a challenge. That was a real challenge, and something that I think, I hope one day when we get some sort of a union that can actually represent craft brewing in South Africa. And that's on the checkbox. It's on the list of things to be done, that's for sure. Hopefully one day we can sort of streamline that and maybe just a little bit more communication about how these things work, I think is going to be of great benefit to these sort of upstarts that are coming through.
So what about the other breweries, that the 5 or 6 of you? What's the oldest one, for example? Is this all relatively new, or has craft beer been around for a while?
No, craft beer is actually, some of the pioneers have been around for sort of 30 years.
Oh, great.
So there's been, obviously it started very slowly. I think our first craft was 1983, and then I know that my friend Chris started Boston Breweries in the 2000s, and he sort of paved the way for a bunch of other guys to follow afterwards. And I think with the new wave of craft that has come through, some of the guys forget about these other breweries that started before and did the hard yards up front. And But yeah, we sort of got, I guess, sort of 2-3 waves that have happened. The very, very pioneering guys that started first, and then a bunch of breweries that come through from sort of 2007, 2008 onwards.
Okay.
And then I guess breweries that started around the same time as us, as Riot Beer, sort of 2013, 14. That's sort of wave 2, wave 3. And then, I've got a bunch of new guys starting too. So, last count, about 180 breweries throughout South Africa.
Wow. Okay. What's the population of Capetown, do you know, roughly?
Population of Capetown, we've got quite a big suburban area that surrounds the sort of smaller CBD. I live right in the CBD. Our brewery is in the sort of next suburb on from the CBD, so we're very much connected to the city.
Okay.
And when I was talking about the 5-6 breweries, that's actually in our little sort of next suburb on from Capetown, which is called Woodstock.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, so some of my neighbors are, for example, Devil's Peak, Gallow Hills. Devil's Peak's fairly well-established brewery here in South Africa, in Cape Town, make great beer. Same for Gallow Hills, make great IPA. Our friends down the road, Drifter Brewing Company, that's actually Nick him and I are good buddies and good partners, and we used to work together in my brewery before he started his brewery. And I think there's a lot of good camaraderie still going on amongst the guys at Woodstock. We've also got another brewery called Woodstock Brewery. A bunch of guys in the same area, and we lean on each other. We help each other out when needed to, which is great.
Excellent. So, here in the U.S., and I think a lot of places, so I'm guessing the answer is similar. Craft beer starts kind of with homebrewers. And I remember back it was about 06 or 07 when we started the BN in 05. And I remember getting emails from a few South African homebrewers, like really early on. They were stoked because we were giving information, right? Like they could tune in. And we were like giving. But I remember them talking about the homebrew scene being really cool and kind of growing up. And so is that what's fueling also the craft beer in South Africa as well?
I think 100%. And just as an aside, I'd love to see who those emails are for. I bet you a couple of them have got their own breweries now.
I would love that. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think it's the nucleus. I think it's the engine room. We even at Riot Beer, we're massive fans of homebrewing. I mean, I wasn't like the most prestigious homebrewer in the UK. I did brews and I enjoyed the process. And when I got the chance to go commercial, we did. But I think it's the engine room. I think that you can't have a craft market without keen and active homebrewers, operating in their kitchens, making little small batch test brews and all sorts of crazy brews. And we just had a cool event on the weekend in Cape Town. It was called Beer Boot Camp, and it's all about education and trying to improve our overall brewing prowess, I guess, here in South Africa. And one of the things I noted was there was a bunch of homebrewers there, as well as commercial guys. There was a bunch of homebrewers there, I think it's incredibly important and the more we get involved, the better. And there's, the equipment that is coming now into South Africa, and some of the own equipment that the guys are producing is getting better. They're getting way more astute, and the homebrewing competitions are producing better and better beers. And I think this is where it is. So it's also the place where experimenting is happening more than anywhere else in South Africa in terms of crazy beers.
Beautiful. So that kind of leads me to my next question then, and you're even alluding to this, like new equipment coming in and things like that. And so for the pro brewer, and then if you have any experience with the home brewer, I would like that answer too. What's getting ingredients like in South Africa? Every country we talk to seems to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, we're using the word pro brewer. I'd hesitate to go there. We're still very much learning, especially at Riot Beer. I mean, our sort of philosophy is trial and error.
I love your honesty.
And there's no official training had been done for anyone that brews at Riot Beer. So,
is that right?
Brewer, yeah, we're very much homebrewers that have gone into commercial and done a bunch of trial and error and figured out how to make beer.
Awesome.
It's nothing more than that. So yeah, but I mean, obviously, it depends on how much you put into it. But yeah, raw materials is a bit of a bugger. It's a bit of an arse. I'm not going to punt my other sister company, but obviously we've got a business called Africa Hops, and we bring in international hops via our partners Bathhouse and Simply Hops.
And did that come before the Riot Beer?
kind of naturally set up because I got back here. I tried to get some hops that I wanted, and I couldn't get it. And I was like, well, this is a bit shit, eh? I mean, like, you're killing my creativity here. So anyway, so I started looking at options of getting the hops here, and then a couple of my buddies were brewing here, and they were going, well, if you're going to get those hops, get me some of those hops. And I was like, okay, well, maybe there's something here. So,
you're part of, wait, and you said Simply, is Phil Simply Hops too? Is that Phil Lowry over there?
Yeah.
That's Phil
Lowry, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Most definitely.
Excellent.
So Phil is I guess my sales representative out of Europe in terms of our product that we get from there, but also he's my buddy, man, and we have a good time. He's come to Capetown once now before, and he's coming again next year, I believe.
I want to come party with you guys in Capetown. I like
come
Phil.
down, man. We're going to have like a big hop school in sort of January, February next year. Pull in.
I would love that. Well, I might skip the school because, I'm really lazy.
He's not a
and
learner.
It probably starts at like 9 a.m. But, hey, I'll be there for lunch and the after party.
The school involves a bunch of beer, right?
Oh, okay. I'm in.
Cool, you're invited.
So you put together then this kind of, you teamed up to get hops to South Africa, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that came out of frustration. Of not being able to get exactly what I wanted. But more than that, not being able to get the client service I wanted out of my, of trying to actually put orders in and forward contracts and actually trying to run my brewery in a professional way. And so I kind of brought a little bit of that European thinking back and sort of, having spoken to brewers and homebrew shops who we're massive fans of. I mean, we're big supporters of the homebrew shops, and often, some of the weird and wonderful hops they want is really difficult to come by, but we want to get it anyway because we want guys to explore and we want guys to, and the many female brewers that we have in the country too. We want brewers getting out there and making crazy beers and experimenting with raw materials. But it's a problem. I mean, we're very far removed from the rest of the world. We're at the southern tip of Africa, and to get product here is expensive. And now with our sort of slightly, well, I say slightly, our tanked rand or our currency for this year. Thank God for Brexit because that strengthened us.
Oh, did it really? That's good. Okay.
Yeah. So, and that rising cost of raw materials will be a little bit stifling in terms of creativity, I think.
So, wait, and you're going to have to just forgive my ignorance, which I probably have to say at least once in an interview. But it's a major port down there, right? So it's just that it's not that you don't have the capacity to get ingredients. It's just that it's so far away.
It is far away, but it is a major port. I mean, there's a lot of trade coming around the southern tip of Africa going to the east. So there is a port there. The shipping cost isn't exactly now that we've moved to fully temperature controlled reefer containers to bring our product in. The shipping costs have definitely decreased, but it's more around the actual valuation of our currency versus the strength of the European currencies and the US dollar and things like that.
Okay.
So we're paying a bunch of money.
And it's not just for hops. It sounds like it's for grain as well.
It is. Yeah. We've got a sort of a pale malt type grain that we get from our big industrial brewer SAB Miller, and they supply us with some decent price grain as a base malt. But we for specialty malts, we at Riot Beer we use Castle Maltings out of Belgium, and we really like their product. We also use a bit of best malt. But there's a bunch of guys using all the other famous malts here that are globally available here in South Africa. So all of that stuff's getting imported, and all of that stuff is incurring a decent exchange rate sort of curve that isn't exactly in our favor right now.
Is there no domestic product? And I'm sure there's like small amounts. So I guess I'm really asking. There's no like large amounts of domestic products available to you guys. Ingredients?
We're lucky enough to have SAB hop farms too. So we do get hops from SAB hop farms, and we've got very good alpha hops, very good bittering hops, a couple of good flavor hops that have been developed in the last sort of 5 to 10 years. But we don't have the variety of say what the US flavor hops are giving us. There's a much bigger variety there that we like to pick from, especially if we're making big IPAs and double IPAs. But there are very strong hops coming out of South Africa, and the problem is getting your hands on them. As a craft brewer, there's only so much availability, and demand is high. So a lot of the guys didn't quite get what they wanted this year, but if you've got to work with, as a professional brewer, I guess you've got to work with the raw materials you have and the availability of them, and try and make it work for you. No matter what.
If there was more interest in farmers producing grain and hops there, would the climate in your area, or at least near somewhere in South Africa, support it?
I think definitely for grains, and there is talk of smaller maltsters opening up business here. I haven't heard much more of it. From about 3 months ago, I heard that there's going to be a sort of specialty maltster that's going to open up his doors here in South Africa at some point in the future. I haven't heard much more about that. That would be awesome. I have to say that would be pretty rad. And then, of course, we've got the hop farms up in George, which is up the east coast of Southern Africa, and it kind of just sits in the zone that it needs to be to grow some hops. Essentially, the daylight is a little bit short, and the winters don't bite as hard as they should. But they've obviously, SAB Miller and SAB Farms are very clever people. They've worked out what grows there, what doesn't grow there, and what works there, and what doesn't work there. And so we are getting some product from them, and the hops are very reasonable. So we just have to make sure that the new owners, which is our American friends, AB InBev, are going to be kind to us and give us our hops.
Right.
Probably going to get spanked for saying that.
Wait. So are you saying that you have new owners, or the hop fields have new owners?
No. I mean, obviously, SAB Miller, second largest brewery in the world, has now been bought by AB InBev, largest brewery in the world.
Okay.
They hold the contracts on all those hops.
Okay, yeah, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought for a second, I was like, wait, little old Riot Beer just got bought out by AB InBev, so I got confused there for a moment.
Those are really popular hops. I mean, really, a lot of breweries around in the U.S. here are really clamoring to get some of those to make these unique beers.
Yeah,
are you doing the same thing with those hops? Are you coming up with your own sort of takes on IPAs using the domestic hops?
Their profiles are fairly standard in terms of flavor. The two sort of flavor hops that I and one of them is called African Queen, which used to be called J17 as an experimental, and then Southern Passion, which is something that we've been using in our beers for quite some time.
Yeah, that's the one that's really popular up here.
Yeah. And it's great when it's fresh and it comes off the vine. It's a really nice hop, and a lot of brewers are very reliant on these hops, and so we have to make sure that we do still get our contract supply of these hops going forward.
And are you getting Western U.S. hops though as well?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, our IPA called the Valve, it's fully US hops that are going in there, and it's very much made in the style of sort of West Coast style. Hey guys, I'm sorry I couldn't get you any beer. I mean, I'm going to straight away say I'm sorry, but
that's okay. In fact, let's mention that just real quick. I'm glad you said. First of all, please, no need to apologize. This is such an ongoing problem here. So Mark was kind enough. He's looking into sending beer. We've been working on this show for a while, and finally calls and goes, "Look, guys, I can spend a bunch of money." And what happens is I don't even know if it's going to get to you because of customs. And we always just say, no, we don't want you to do that. Don't do that. So
it would be great.
What a nice gesture, of course. But this has been going on for the whole 11 years of this program.
Sure,
Whenever we do an international brewery.
I'm in Yakima for the hop picking in September. I'm going to sneak some beers in, and I'm going to send you guys some beers because I promised to send you, and I'm a man of my word, so I will. It's just going to be delayed.
I appreciate that. I would love to try it. And then, look, if all the bottles break or you have to give them all away in Yakima, it's yet another reason for me to come to South Africa and party with you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, that'll be the best. Yeah, for sure.
You're on my list. You're on my travel list, I got to tell you.
Definitely January, February time. Phil's coming down. I think, again, there's a couple of people coming down for this hop school, and I think that'll be a cool time to meet the crew here in South Africa.
January, February works for me. It's when we're not busy around here.
Bring it. It's nice and hot, and it's summertime, and it'll give you a well-deserved break from winter.
That's right.
Morning is evening there.
Oh, perfect.
So you'll be fine.
I'll be great. Yeah, the time difference works for me perfectly. Mark, I got to take a quick break.
Sure.
But when we come back, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask the question for Doc in advance, and then because we've talked about the raw ingredients that you have to import, but I want to talk about the water, and fermentation and yeast when we come back, and then of course more about the beers. So if you can hang in there for a second, we're going to take a quick break. We're talking to Mark from Riot Beer out of Capetown, South Africa. If you have any questions, 888-401-BEER, or of course Bevo's in the chat room right now. You can just hit the chat button and I'll pass the questions along. Hang in there. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. You're listening to The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on two gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states, plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a home brew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
If you work in retail sales, the restaurant industry, or are a new craft beer enthusiast, or you know someone who is, you have got to check out Beer 101. Beer 101 is an online course created for anyone wanting a quick introduction to the vast world of craft beer. Beer 101 covers the history of beer, brewing ingredients and processes, vital stats like ABV, SRM, IBU, and gravity, styles, tasting, glassware, and pairing beer with food. The Beer 101 course is offered by the Brewers Association at craftbeer.com, also home to the truly awesome Beer Style Finder, a visual guide to every beer style. Quickly play with color, bitterness, and alcohol content to interactively explore the entire world of beer styles with a gorgeously designed interface to your favorite beverage. The new Beer 101 course and new Beer Style Finder are only available at craftbeer.com. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
You're tuned into this session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. It was like, came back from the break. I'm sitting in the studio by myself. I actually just started laughing. I was sitting here by myself going,
this is inevitable.
I heard the music.
You know what it reminded me of is, remember when I had to do the fucking like chemistry show by myself? This was years ago. This was like year 2, and I was supposed to do like a mash. I don't even remember the topic, but nobody showed up for the show. But I knew it. I think I knew ahead of time.
Yeah.
I was supposed to cover the topic. So I read the crap out of John Palmer's book, How to Brew. And then
you got confused, didn't you?
It's me and Daniela sitting in the studio at 5 p.m. on a Sunday, and I'm terrified. I'm going, I have to cover not just a topic, but a scientific topic, and nobody's here. Doc had called in sick. Like, I forget what happened. You know what? I kind of nailed it, though. Like, thanks to John Palmer. Like, this was not... I just took a bunch of notes from the Palmer book and then gave a lecture based on that. Anyhow, I had a little flashback right there. You guys are all out, and I'm like, oh, crap.
You're treading water in shark-infested waters.
Well, real quick, before we get back to our guest today, who is Marc Fourie from Riot Beer in Capetown, South Africa, I wanted to remind you of the American Homebrewers Association and why you should become a member. And, you know, we were always talking about what they do for us and the different events, but I always forget to tell you about the member deals. If you have your AHA card, you can get member deals all over the place, and a lot of those are at tap rooms like mine. In fact, if you come in here with your AHA card, you get a discount here. You get discounts everywhere. In fact, you get them in well over 1,400 participating breweries, pubs, beer bars, homebrew shops, you name it. And there's even a handy deal finder and a map on homebrewersassociation.org. So you can go there and you can actually search your hometown or where you're traveling to.
If you're a member and a new one is created, they send you an email. It's in your area.
You get to know everyone.
Yeah. Oh, they send you, in case there's somebody new comes onto the whole program.
Yeah.
Especially in your neighborhood, they'll do it. So don't be shy.
And they're always adding, like they added us last year. It's a great benefit. You can basically pay for your membership with how much you save on beer, food, and homebrew supplies. So make sure you go check it out at homebrewersassociation.org. And, I learned at the National Homebrewers Conference, and I'm not actually even sure if they released the app yet because I'm not on the governing committee anymore, but they've created a new AHA app that's badass. And when you log in as a member, you're not even going to have to carry around your membership card anymore.
Oh, good.
You can just have the app on hand. Because this was always a problem with me. I just don't have my card on me.
Yeah.
I recommend you keep your card on you. But I think they've solved this problem with the new AHA app. You're going to be able to just show it to the bartender or the retailer at the homebrew shop right through the app.
Nice.
So things just got easier.
It'll work for Tasty.
Yeah.
In case they don't
I've
recognize
always got one in my wallet, but it's like 2 years old. I never put the current one in there.
In case they don't recognize you.
Yeah. Well, when he goes to other states,
out of state.
He needs it then
for his first 10 minutes.
All right, you can click the AHA link right on our homepage. You can sign up that way. It actually gives us a little bit of credit, and go check it out because it's true. You'll pay for your membership just in discounts. All right, we're talking to Marc from Riot Beer in Capetown, South Africa. Marc, thanks for sticking with us.
Cool.
Now, before the break, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about, the other raw ingredients, which are water and yeast. And let's start with water. What's the deal there?
It's funny you just mentioned the John Palmer book. I'm actually just getting into John Palmer and Colin Kaminsky's Water Comprehensive Guide for Brewers.
Oh, yeah.
Whereby I thought I knew something about water, and now I realize I don't.
Those two are insane.
That's humbling, that book.
Yeah.
Not the first time.
So a little bit. It's a bit of a slow read, but I'm getting through it. I'm about halfway through. So, look, from a water perspective, I guess we still have fairly drinkable and clean water. We're still drinking water from the taps, which is, I guess, a good thing.
That is, yes.
And the approach that we take at Riot Beer, from a brewing perspective is, I just like to. I personally think that there are some parts of South Africa where you could naturally use the brewing water. Certainly, SAB Miller do. They use the Newland Spring, which is also a source for home brewers. They'll go down to the spring and actually get some of their water and actually take it home. It's nice and soft, good for lagers. But the water sort of profile we like to do is we went back to RO and we decided to pull as much of the water of the contents of the water out of it, and then dose back in and actually create our profiles for our specific beers. And that I just felt, as still a learning brewer, as a brewer that has still got plenty to learn, and I just felt that was a variable that I could minimize, which would give me a better chance to make better beers.
Did you make that decision before or after starting to read the Palmer Kaminsky book?
No, this decision was made before we set up Riot Beer, so many moons ago.
Oh, okay.
For me, I would like to work with a profile that I can adjust, but as a fledgling new brewer in the commercial scene, I just felt that was a variable I didn't want to deal with, and so I pull everything out. We do reverse osmosis and some carbon filters, and then obviously when we're heating our water, we're also getting rid of a bit of chlorine, and we use it this way. But of course, we're dosing back in for specific styles.
So how complicated is that for you? You started back in the beginning, you decided to do reverse osmosis, and now you have to add everything you need back to the water, right?
Yeah.
So is this a couple of ingredients? Is this 20 different things? Like, how difficult is this process every day for you to build your water bag?
Well, it's. We've kept it, quite simple. And I was lucky enough to get a tool from a very experienced brewer in the UK who helped me out in this subject. I would have been lost without it. I think it's quite a difficult subject to get into. I think it's and for me probably the most important. I think if you, just as a home brewer, brewing with some water that you took out of your tap versus maybe going to get some other water from another source, you immediately see the difference. And I think it's. It's underrepresented in its importance. I think that, if we're doing education going forward in South Africa, I think water must be a major part of that. It's not 95-6% of your product, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard that before, but it's true. That's the bottom line. And, I had this tool of where we could, add the amount of calcium sulfates, to the water that we want and the mineral additions that we want. And so once I knew where I'm starting from, which is obviously on an RO system, I'm pulling the majority of it out. I'm working with some pretty low quantities. I was able to sort of work out what I need to put it back in for style and in terms of brew length that we're using and sparging and all the other hot liquor that we use.
So can we pick an example? And it does, I'm going to ask for specifics, but really it could be done in generality. Let's pick one of your beers. Let's pick a style, your IPA or you name it, something you want to talk about, and then what you had to add back. Because I'm just thinking about my listeners. When I think about RO water, I go, oh my God, this is something I never want to do.
It's so much easier. It's a clean slate.
Okay.
And you're not having to worry about the ups and downs of your water every day. And you don't have to counteract what's already in the water.
Right.
So a clean slate is
easier.
So much easier.
All right, so let's pick a style, Mark, with your clean slate.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I just want to reiterate that. For me, it was exactly that. It was like trying to make it simpler because I had all these other things to worry about. I've gone commercial. I've got a bunch of investment on the go. I want to make good quality beers, and it was literally that sort of thought process that thought to worry about, and really just try and nail the styles that I'm getting into. So for example, when I looked at the IPA, and obviously it's heavy on gypsum. To try and bring out those hop aromas and those flavors later on in the beer. But for me, I looked at it and I said to myself, okay, so what's a classic? What am I aiming at in terms of calcium levels, alkalinity, chloride, sulfates, and how do I get there? So I sort of knew from general consensus that from a milligram per liter sort of basis, I need 170 milligrams per liter of calcium. I need an alkalinity of about 35 to 75, depending what you want to do. And then essentially, very thankfully, I received this awesome little Excel spreadsheet calculator from a buddy of mine in the UK, and a great brewer there, and a lifetime brewer there. And I was able to sort of, use the products that were available here in South Africa to sort of adjust. So, for example, my chlorides, I couldn't get quite the same sort of ingredients that they had in the UK, and I would have to actually do a conversion into sort of a flaked version, if you know what I mean. So where the liquid version was asking for more in the Excel spreadsheet, I then created another conversion that would give me the right amount to add in respect of the flaked version of these chlorides that I'm putting in. And so in terms of that, we really only using the additions that we're doing. We're not really using sulfuric acid to adjust alkalinity, because our alkalinity is spot on, but we're using like calcium sulfate and calcium chloride to adjust those levels.
Okay. Guys, is he doing it right?
Yeah, well, sure.
You got to help me out here, because he's speaking a different language to me.
Well, for an IPA, I assume you're getting most of your sulfates from the calcium sulfate rather than from the chloride side of that.
Yes. Yeah.
So the chlorides are there. You're just using little. I think in parts per million. You're keeping that on the lower side, just to round out the beer and give the malt a presence. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And then the calcium chloride is actually on the slightly higher side, just to add the required calcium needed. Right. But yeah, I mean, I think it's from brewing side, it's fairly standard stuff, but it is definitely something that I would say, coming from slowly but surely getting slightly better at my craft as I put more effort in. It's definitely something that has revolutionized my beer.
It definitely
basically putting a bunch of effort into this.
Definitely makes it easier, and I certainly understand that. Now, what a lot of breweries do is they'll titrate their water on the brew day to see what they've got, and then they'll just put that into the spreadsheet, and then what do I need to do to get it to where I want it to be.
But that's without reverse osmosis.
Well, or you could use some of each. You could use half RO and half not RO.
Okay.
And then all the numbers are down, way below their
What is your water like, Mark, if you did leave it alone?
The water that we have in Woodstock is actually quite hard. And I also, I don't want to sound too patronizing to the guys that I'm sure work very hard in the water department in Cape Town, but it's also
worried about your water getting turned off.
They're going to spit in your water.
Yeah, tomorrow I get no brew water. But I don't want to patronize them or anything, because I'm sure they're working very hard. But at the same time, when we got our water analyzed up front, there were quite a few impurities and stuff like that in there, and I just wanted to, I can't remember offhand what was in there, but I remember being a little bit, concerned about certain levels, and so cleaning that water too is very important. That RO process does a great job of that.
Okay.
But we didn't want to get tied up with, we're a small brewery, we're a small batch brewery, we try and make high quality beer in a small batch environment, but we have a bunch of problems there too, because we've got a small system and not so much control. But one of the things that we didn't want to do is we didn't want to really be sending water off for analysis every couple of weeks or once a month. So we thought, let's take all of that out and let's just start at a base and work our way back from there.
Okay,
makes sense.
All right, let's talk yeast now. What's your choice of yeast over there?
Well, we've got there was some talk of a local sort of lab setting up business. Obviously, when the craft sort of explosion happened, it hasn't materialized as far as I know. I believe that there are one or two guys that are working with these guys, but I haven't personally. We don't really have a massive yeast requirement. We definitely repitch. Obviously, we can't do without yeast, but we're using some pretty well-known brands right now. I try to. It's not so good for my P&L, but I try to use different yeasts, because I don't want to have that same sort of house flavor coming out. I want the beers to still stand original and try and taste quite different, between sort of IPA versus our sort of lighter beer and some of the specials that we brew. I wanted them to stand out. So we use different manufacturers, and which has its own problems, and sometimes we can't repitch as much as we want to. But we usually repitch sort of 2 to 3 times if conditions allow.
Okay. If I have a good enough time over there, I could probably talk Chris White into opening a lab.
I was going to say the same thing.
Maybe I'll bring him with me. Show us a good time. It's maybe a strip club or two.
Strip club of 4.
So, right, and before you know it, there'll be a lab right next to the strip club.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you have waffles there?
I strangely in the city of Cape Town. I live very close to the largest strip club in Cape Town.
Oh my
which
goodness!
Is great. We can have the lab between the strip club and my place.
It's perfect. Yeah. What manufacturers are you able to get there?
We've got look. I think Fermenters has a big footprint in South Africa.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's a connections to other sort of industries in South Africa. I guess it is. We've got a massive wine industry, but and then we use our local representatives here called Anchor Yeast, which do the Lellerman products.
Okay, that's nice.
So yeah, I'm using one yeast from each for my mainline beers. I only have 2 mainline beers because again we try to keep that simple to try and perfect that, as opposed to go with a big range that we couldn't quite support. And yeah, I mean, again, we use classic USO5 in the IPA, and then we're using Notties, which I used in the UK when I was brewing there, and doing a couple of internships in the UK. We use Notties there, and I really liked the yeast, and I really liked what it did in the beer. So, and of course, we experiment with everything else. We've got these new yeast manufacturers called Mangrove Jack. I don't know if you guys know those guys. I think they're out of New Zealand. I'm not sure, or Australia. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
It definitely sounds
like one of those.
It does, yes.
Yeah.
Mate.
And they're becoming quite popular amongst the smaller breweries now. And I used their yeast the other day in a sort of Dunkel Hefeweizen, and it worked quite nice. So yeah, we were pretty lucky to have all those major brands in and being able to purchase them and use them. But yeah, we actually I saw Neighbor Parker on the weekend from White Labs.
Oh, JP was telling me that you guys had some event that Neva was actually there for, or were you here? I didn't get what was happening.
Yeah, so we had this. I mentioned earlier, we had this beer boot camp, which is sort of an educational sort of weekend in Cape Town and Johannesburg.
Okay.
And Neighbor and a bunch of other representatives came down. But as you were talking of white yeast, I thought I'd mention it. And yeah, she did a couple of talks here too, and about yeast appreciation and maintenance and handling and and all good stuff for our local market, But I did mention to her that I try and grab a couple of orders from a couple of my mates and a couple of my friends, and maybe we'll try and get some White Labs yeast over here and do some experimentals with them, because I've always heard great things about it, and we just need to use more products. And I think the more products we have available to local craft here in South Africa means the more experimentation we're going to get done.
Of course.
Which means we can make better products,
Of course. And people like Neva is really a badass. Like, she's such a great lab tech.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she's more than that at White Labs. Plus, come on, she was fun to party with too, right? Like, I know you guys had some
she was fun to party. I was giving her a bit of stick on Saturday night. She had a bunch of attention from a bunch of homebrewers.
Oh yeah,
they do glom on her.
Yeah.
So I was giving her a bit of stick for that.
Yeah, as you should. That's funny. All right. Well, listen. Tell me this now. I want to know more about the palate of the South African beer drinker, or I guess at least even just the Cape Town beer drinker. So, what are the popular beers?
Yeah.
What did you when you opened? What was your vision? Did you have to do more stout? Did you have to do more IPA? Give me a feel for what the beer scene's like.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I think that exact question explains exactly what the beer scene is. And I think, look, we're still very much in our infancy, and we as craft brewers have the job of convincing, your mainstream sort of beer drinkers to try us.
Yeah.
And one of the problems that we have is I think that our quality isn't where it should be yet. And so the try us tag is becoming problematic too, because we really have to have great quality product in order to convince them to come to the craft scene and to come and experience some flavor and drink great beers. And that was our ethos when we started, and it still is trying to get really flavorsome product into the market that inspires people to drink it, and inspires people to drink other sort of beers and go out of category and experiment, and that is really what Riot Beer has always been about, is ultimately trying to get a really great product into the bottle, for example, to get to the consumer, or onto the tap to get to the consumer.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just quickly, I'm curious, what's the standard right now? Like, what's the macro beer that everyone is drinking? I assume
lager.
It's a lager, yeah.
Lager and light lager.
From who? Who's the big?
From bad to worse. No, but I mean, we have a bunch of good lagers too, though. Really nice lagers.
What breweries are the most popular?
I still think that lager has a place in any beer market. A great brewed lager is a beer that it can be enjoyed, but there's so many other styles. Let's
Mark, what's the popular, if you don't mind,
what's the one you have to have on tap?
Yeah, like what are the popular lagers that are being?
Okay. Yeah. So from an industrial perspective, if you're walking into a bar or a pub and you're looking and there's industrial lager on, then it's going to be sort of SAB's lagers of Castle and Black Label.
Okay.
Calling Black Label. If the big sort of craft lagers now that I would say is must have on taps is probably Darling Brew's Slow Beer, CBC's lager, Jack Black lager, Devil's Peak lager. These are all top 5, top 10 crafts in South Africa.
Got it.
Guys doing decent volume too. So, and they've hit the market quite large. And Riot Beer, we made a lighter beer, but we try to put a twist on it. We've got a golden ale that drinks very easily, and that has its own life. It's actually going to shift into a slightly different recipe very soon when we rebrand our labeling, and we've got a whole host of new things happening at Riot in the following 6 months, which I'll tell you guys about in a sec. But we also went for a lighter beer, but we also went for smack you in the face IPA too, and we're not going to back down from that. We're going to keep pushing flavor because that's what we're going to the business for.
So how is that perceived? When new people come in to try some craft beer, you've got this slap you in the face IPA. I'm certain that you have, your beer geeks like everywhere that go, oh, thanks for making this beer. But what about the other people? What about the middle of the road? Hey, I kind of like some craft beer. I came to try you out. How are they reacting to the slap you in the face IPA?
Yeah, I think. Well, look, when we go to a beer festival, we always have a whole host of Americans visiting us because there's a whole lot of students that do exchange programs in South Africa and things. And when we're at the beer festival, we have repeat offenders who come and drink our IPA from the States, and we love that. That's a sort of something that we really love at the beer festivals. But the beer festival gives us an opportunity to see our consumer in the eyes, or look our consumer in the eyes, and actually have a conversation with them and figure out what they're doing and what they're into. And I think. The conversions that we've had on the stand where we go, you look at, in terms of style, this is a slightly bitter beer. It's full flavor. It's punchy. it's going to have a bit of fruit punch bowl effect on you. But these are tasting notes because, one of the things that we always laugh at is we have a guy and his girlfriend come up to the stand, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I'll take the Imperial Stout." Okay, no, brilliant. We'll do that.
Yeah.
And the girl goes, "Yeah, what's this Valve IPA that's got flavor notes of lychee and guava?" And I'm like, "No, listen, those are flavor notes, but this is still a very, very full flavored beer." But we do have conversions. I mean, we see it in front of us. We see people drinking this beer for the first time and going, "Wow, actually, it is bitter, but it's also delicious." It has all the characteristics of a delicious beer. Sweetness on front of the mouth, lots of flavor on the side of the tongue, and then a nice sort of resonating bitterness at the end. And this is a drinkable beer. And we see people finding the styles that they're into at our stand, and that's pretty positive.
Excellent. Beer festivals still, even in a mature or maybe even maturing is the better word for the U.S. market. Beer festivals, I think, are still an awesome place for you to connect with consumers like that, right?
So good.
Yeah,
I love it.
Except for, you all get the consumers that come up and go, "Hey, guy, can I have the one with the most alcohol?" But aside from that, people who really are looking to go, "Oh, I heard about this craft beer thing, and there's supposed to be more flavor. Let's talk about that." It's still the best place to do it.
No, most definitely, and we really enjoy it. I mean, we really enjoy connecting on the day, selling beer directly to our clients, retail, and enjoying that process. And we have a lot of fun because we've got another product that we make called the Hop Shot, which is essentially a hop infused a shot that we just created ourselves for the benefit of our clients, and we have a great time selling IPAs and hop shots and getting everyone as drunk as we can, but also getting that feedback. And as you said,
wait. So what's the hop shot?
The hop shot. So basically, we started experimenting with coffee presses and taking various hops and pressing it into vodka and a couple other secret ingredients that we put into this mix, and we come up with a 20% sort of light-hearted, fun shot that people can enjoy.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a big hit at the brewing at the brewery festivals that we have, and people just, you know, we've got like a hop challenge where you can drink one of our IPAs, have a couple of shots, and technically the full hop challenge is also to sniff some hops afterwards. But that's
I love that.
Brutal,
you know, it's funny. It's Chris White made me. That's come to think of it. It's the first one who made me snuff hops. I would love that in accordance with a hop shot. That sounds great.
When you come in January, we'll film you doing a hop challenge at Riot Beer.
Oh man,
and we'll post it online for your supporters.
I love it. I love it. So, do you just do that at the festivals?
The moment, just at the festivals. We're working with a couple of partners at the moment who are pretty interested in the product, and we might go commercial, but we're just demoing the product at the moment, and we really like it, and our clientele really like it too. So we're just going with the flow there. But our main business is beer.
Okay, got it.
So essentially, it's a hop tincture. Is that what you're doing? You're just dissolving the hop oils with vodka?
Yeah, we essentially we do isomerize the hops to get the bitterness out. Okay. So we isomerize it, and then with the actual hop press that we use, which is called it's called an AeroPress. You guys might have heard
I know
of
the AeroPress.
It's quite big there.
We
actually use these AeroPresses to get to filter those hops out of there. It kind of works. You know, it's working well enough now to get an enjoyable product at the back end. But if we were to go commercial, we'd have to do a little bit more processing on the product, I guess.
Okay. I want to try it. I'm in. Yeah. I'm in for the hop challenge.
Awesome.
Doc, you want to go to South Africa next year or what?
I was already there with you, man. I was thinking, how can I get there, me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I haven't done it for a while, but if you guys come over, I'll bang it up both noses. We'll get it up there.
Yeah, all right. I haven't done it for a while either. It's harsh as fuck, but it's kind of fun.
Horrible.
Right, it's horrible, but it's also kind of fun, and I just like doing dumb things anyway. So
bam, bam, and off to the strip club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, different. You know, yes.
I think the sentence is strip clubs.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate the correction. You're right. All right. Well, Mark, thank you so much for being on the program. It's been a lot of fun to learn about Riot Beer.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for having us. We really feel privileged and grateful for it. And you know, Riot Beer is expanding.
Tell me about that. You said you were going to mention something new happening.
I wanted to talk about it tonight because we haven't really mentioned it into the market or to the local trade here in South Africa. But we've joined forces with another craft brewery. They have purchased an equity stake in Riot Beer.
Okay,
and all from the brewery is called Darling Brew. And they are now our new partners, and we're very excited. We're still running our own brewery, and the idea is that, you know, this union came from the fact that we really wanted to produce much higher quality product in the bottle per se.
Okay.
Because it's really challenging to get a stable product in the bottle. It's small craft. It's so hard.
It's almost impossible.
Especially how it's treated in the market too sometimes.
It's been such a ball ache for the last 18 months, you know, and you do so much work to get it into the tank and to get it where you want it to be, and then on the tap it's great, and you put it into this bottle, and it just turns on you, and it depends on how the consumer or the ultimate proprietor of the bottle shops, for example, the liquor stores that you're selling in, how they then handle your product too. And so we went with a craft brewery called Darling Brew that we're really great friends with them, and we really enjoy what they're about as a brewery themselves too, and so the idea is ultimately to get better quality product to the end consumer, but obviously, you know, working with our sort of angle and direction on beer and really keeping the full flavor motto up. But we're still gonna brew. We're still gonna brew in our current setup, and we're gonna just keep brewing specials. You know, so we've got this platform now to brew really exciting new beers on a much more regular basis, whilst having our sort of mainline beers being produced in a very high quality facility. They've got a world class facility there, and that's always what we wanted to do. Is, you know, give a great experience to the consumer, and that's where we angled now.
Well, and if you can't get the great beer out to the consumer, then you just feel like you're kind of spinning your wheels. So sounds like a great partnership.
No, it is, and we're super excited, and it's again, another phase of 6 to 9 months of really hard work for us to up to this volume and also penetrate the market the way we want to, and also get our recipes right. We've already done a couple of test brews there, and a few tweaks need to be made.
Okay.
But they've got a great system and great bunch of guys that work there too. I'm working with the head brewer Felix at the moment, and we're looking forward to this union, and we're looking forward to giving the consumer and the new craft consumers some great product, because that's what they deserve. If they're paying their hard-earned money, they should be getting good quality product out the other side.
That's right. In fact, educate me on that. If I go into Riot Beer or another place for a great beer in Cape Town right now, how much am I going to pay for a pint?
So if you're buying it directly from your brewery, you're definitely you're going to pay much less. But for example, we serve 420 ml glasses of beer at Riot Beer's tasting room, and that's going for our light beer, which is called Session, that's going for $30. And then for our IPA, which is called the Valve, that's going for $35. So in your terms, 30 Rand is going to be, I guess now on the current exchange rate, about $2.
Jesus, Doc, we're going tomorrow.
You had me at $2, man.
The amount of money that you would save drinking would pay for your plane tickets.
That's right.
And the more you drink, the more you make.
And the strippers.
It's the way I look at it, Tasty. It's like you're in my head right now.
So that's $4 every time I drink one. So 2 for this, 4 saved. That's like,
Doc, we got to go out. I need to make some money.
Granted, that's at the brewery where it's cheapest.
Yeah.
How much is it at the strip club?
You know what?
Priorities.
We're gonna have to make an ambition and a goal that Riot Beer sells some beer in a strip club very soon.
Yes,
we're going to get a client in a strip club. That's it, done. But I mean, look,
Justin will come down for the clothes.
Yeah, tell him you have a big radio star coming. Don't send him any information or anything, because they'll.
I will do. But you're going to pay a little bit more though in a frontline place. Something like right in the city that's quite popular and it's quite a cool place. You're going to pay about 45 Rand for a pint of good IPA.
$3.
And that's about just under $3. $3.
Okay.
$3 for a pint.
Okay. All right.
Very reasonable.
Damn, we can't afford to not go there.
Yeah, we're going to become an infomercial for Cape Town.
Just for what you're saving on beer, you'll pay for your flight, yeah?
And if you fly now, you can bring 3 of your friends for the same price as going anywhere else in the world. That's our new infomercial. All right. Well, I definitely want to come check it out. It sounds fantastic. Where can our listeners go to learn more about Riot Beer?
www.riotbeer.co.za, and that is our site. You'll get all of our details on there, or you can check us out online at Riot Beer on Twitter, and then at Riot Beer for Facebook too. So, yeah, we are on all the social mediums, I guess, and keep watching the space. We've got great ambitions, and we work really hard. We've got a good work ethic, and the crew that we got now is fantastic, and yeah.
Well, I'm wishing you luck. I'm wishing you luck. I can't wait to taste the beer. Like you said, if you do get some out here when you come to Yakima, please send it our way. I'm excited to try.
There's no requirement. You guys are coming in January, yeah? It's done.
And we're coming in January, so it's a done deal.
I like
it.
That.
Might have to be February, but one of those months, man.
It's
South Africa.
It's still summer. The endless summer.
Yeah.
I
love this.
Bring it.
I'm excited already. Marc, thanks so much for being on the program. I hope we talk to you again soon. I wish you all the luck, and we'll see you in Cape Town in early next year.
I'm so there.
Damn right. Listen, guys, thank you so much for having us. We're very grateful for it, and we really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
All right, brother. Take care.
And now I'm going to get a little bit of sleep before I have to go to the brewery.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's so early there. Thank you also for that. I know it's in the middle of the night.
It's a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Cheers. There you go. It's Marc from Riot Beer in Cape Town, South Africa, and what a fun guy.
It's very nice.
By the way, it was like 3 in the morning when he started that interview with us, so I do appreciate that. But yeah, he sounds like a lot of fun, really nice. I am excited to try that beer. It's cool to hear that there's I think he said something like 168 breweries in South Africa. Yeah. 6 or so in Cape Town alone. He was even just talking about his suburb, so not even Cape Town, just in the. So that's exciting stuff. Yeah. Doc, I really think we might have to
Oh, me and you are talking about this as soon as these microphones shut off.
I mean, Tasty, I'm sure if we find out that there's a homebrewers conference, they'll fly you out.
Oh, yeah.
Us lackeys will buy our own ticket. But I'll go find the homebrew conference and make them fly you out.
We'll have one. We'll do the
we'll just,
National South African Homebrewers Conference.
It is really on the. It's always been. It's on my list. It's on my travel list.
Deal.
And now it just moved up the travel list quite a bit.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to go there.
Beers.
So, yay.
Yeah, that's a good time. All right, well, that was fun to speak with Mark. We also talked a little bit about yeast. I wanted to talk to you guys about White Labs for a second because I just got information today about some new yeast strains that they're about to put out. Yeah, they're up to a bunch of stuff over there at White Labs. Of course, they're opening the new lab in North Carolina. Right, so that's happening soon, and they're just kind of growing up all over the place.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, we've known about the new packaging, and more yeast is coming out in that. In fact, I think they even made some recent changes to the new packaging.
They upgraded the packaging.
To upgrade again.
Yeah, it's got more information and a little bit more yeast.
But they sent me some yeast strains. I hate when I can't pronounce them, but that's just how it is.
Try it.
Turrilaspara del Brecchi.
Awesome.
I think that's pretty close, actually. The Turrilaspara del Brecchi, otherwise known as WLP 603. That's coming out, I think, this month. It's a wild yeast isolated from fruit trees in Denmark. The strain produces a lot of esters and contributes some phenolics and has been used for ciders and wine, but also ferments well for beer. So they're always pulling out different ones. Here's another one, WLP 773, the Scottish Cider Blend. See, it's like homebrew's growing up, right? Like, even the yeast strains are...
It used to be English cider and whatever else you had.
And whatever else you could find. All right, this one, the cider blend, contains 2 ale strains and 1 wine strain. Unlike a lot of ale strains that typically dry out most ciders, this unique blend of Saccharomyces strains still leaves some residual sweetness for the perfect mouthfeel. And then finally, they've got the Thames Ale Yeast, WLP 030.
Thames.
Thames?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thames.
Thank you. Whatever. The strain is very flocculent and great for porters, stouts, ESBs, and it actually has a lower ester production than most English yeast, they say. So 3 new strains, I think, coming out just in July, and it sounds like they're going to be doing new strains every single month right now.
Really? No, these aren't the ones that are coming out of what they call the yeast bank or the
yeast vault. No, the yeast vault that is separate. And by the way, you can go to whitelabs.com, click on the yeast vault, and still vote for your favorite yeast. And when it gets to a certain amount, or when a yeast gets a certain amount of votes, they'll produce that for you as well. But this is on top of that.
These are some new ones. Well,
I'm telling you, they're doing good stuff over there.
Can we get into that vault?
Oh yeah, totally. We have to strip naked. They brush us down, and
that's just Neva and Jamie, right?
Yeah,
they don't have TSA pre-check on this either. You got to go right down to nothing.
Yeah, and it's a whole process. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I bet it is.
but then once we're clean, Doc. Then you're like, yeah, sure, I can get you into the vault.
Bucket list number 2.
Right. All right, why don't we do this? Let's take ourselves a quick break.
How long?
I got to pee, so let's call it 7 minutes.
Okay.
You podcasters, it's less than that. You live listeners, it's going to be about 7 minutes. It's the session. We'll be right back. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
With over 20 years of experience making world-class craft beer and more than 100 gold medals in international competitions, Moylan's Brewing Company is not just a pretty face in craft beer. Just ask Brendan Moylan.
What do we got here? The beer of the hour. Moylan's, gotta love that big M. It's like a sign of awesomeness. Woo-hoo! It's got an extra kick to it. Let's pour this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, Moylan's. At the end of the night when the kids are finally in bed, the wife's in bed, nobody's bothering your ass anymore, that's Moylan's time. Moylan's is for you. Yeah. It's to help you out. Yeah. It helps me out.
What?
Well, because it's freaking awesome. Northern California brewed. It's brewed with love.
With love?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. And it's always best where?
Moylan's.
You gotta try it. On tap at Moylan's in Novato. They're freaking awesome. Not only because I own the brewery, because I love the beer.
Cheers!
Boom.
Kilt Lifter Scotch Ale takes big beers to a whole new level with rich malt balanced perfectly with delicate hops, and now comes in 4-pack tall boy cans so you can take the party on the go. Or come to the brewery, take a tour, and try any of Moylan's fresh creations right from the source. Check them out at moylans.com.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and a homebrewer's answer book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com. BN Army, have you heard the latest at Hop Tech? Since Hop Tech has doubled in size after a huge expansion, Jade and Roberto can stock even more of the best quality homebrewing supplies and equipment. Over 60 kick-ass varieties of hops and malts, monster truckloads of quality brewer's yeast, including White Labs, Y-yeast, and multiple dry yeasts. They even have all grain systems from Grainfathers and Ruby Street Brew Systems, thanks to Jade, the brand new all-grain brewer. And don't forget about their 10% discount to all BN Army members. Jade and Roberto are waiting for you and all of your brewing questions over at hoptech.com. Hoptech, totally not sucking since 1983.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters, this is Jamel Zanisha, and I love a bold, hoppy beer, one that spits resin in your face and makes you cry uncle. There are a lot of great hoppy beers out there, but at Heretic, we want to make something as bold, dank, and resiny as possible. We use hops at every chance we get, including multiple dry hop additions. The result is Heretic Evil Cousin. This light golden, 8% Imperial IPA has an easy malt character that helps take the edge off the massive bittering, but it takes a back seat to the in-your-face hop character. We make sure this beer finishes dry so the hops can jump out and slam you in the taste buds. If you can't get enough hoppy goodness, Evil Cousin is your cup of tea. Cheers.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
everybody. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for sticking with us. We got a few things left to do. We're going to have some fun here at the end of the show. I want to let you know and remind you about our good friend and sponsor over at Beersmith. You can go to beersmith.com and check it out right now. It's Beersmith brewing software. You know, it's not just for home brewing. A lot of pro brewers that come in here use it too. That's how good it is. It does everything you need it to do and more. It does. I promise you, it does 10 things you don't even need it to do. That's how good Brad is. He's like, well, one person asked for that, so I'll put it in the program. Go check it out. It works on PC and it works on Mac, and you don't have to take our word for it because you get a free 21-day trial. You got video tutorials of how to use it. I mean, you go find another piece of brewing software that gives you all the tools you need to figure out how to use it and make it simple for your system. And then you don't have to pay for it because you get a free 21-day trial. So go check it out. He also does DVDs. He's got one with Palmer out right now, and a How to Brew series. He does a podcast over there. Go to beersmith.com and check it out. Brad's got his shit together, and you'll see it right away. So, let me just do a few things here at the end of the program. I have a funny story. You want to hear a weird story?
Sure.
Oh, really? Another one?
It's a weird story. It happened to me this morning, and I tried to hold it in. You know what? I wanted to talk about this with Adam Corolla because, like, he goes, like, Endless Rant IPA, right? Like, the man, like, he just rants. This is what he does, right? And this has been the perfect thing for him to rant with me with, but I didn't want to bother him, right? So I let him off the hook. But, so I have my nephew in town, right? My nephew's 10.
I like him.
Little Justin.
He's my patient.
He's a good guy. He's your patient, right? Yeah. He's a good kid. I dropped him off at camp this morning, all right?
Oh.
So, you know this whole thing that's going around, and I'm fine with this whole thing. Like, it's a thing, and then I get it. It's like, it's about your what gender pronoun you'd like to be called, right? Like
doctor.
No, that's not your gender pronoun. It could be your pronoun, I guess, but right? Like, it's because not everyone wants to be identified as he or she. Like, they is now an appropriate gender pronoun. It's a conversation that the world is having, and it's fine. I'm happy about this conversation. Okay, my nephew is 10 years old. Goes to camp, and you have to sit down with me and the camp counselor and the nephew, and it's, by the way, it's in a room of a bunch of others too. It's not like a private room, right? Right. And they go through like what you think is like a normal camp interview, right? It's like they check them for lice, and then they check their temperature, and then they sit, and then they ask the kid questions, and I'm staying out of it. Like, I like that they're asking questions of the child, like, do you have any allergies? He's like, no, I don't have any allergies. Have you been sick in the last 2 weeks? What do you like to be called? Because you can use a nickname at camp. All these questions, and then finally they go, "What pronoun would you like to be called?" Like, it's a normal question. Like, they just throw it in. Right down the list. Like, they're just running out. Like, allergies? No. What pronoun do you need? What pronoun? And I see, and I'm looking at my nephew. I'm looking at his face, and he's confused as fuck. Right? He's just like, and finally he speaks out. He's like, what?
What's the question here?
Yeah. And so
I'd be saying the same thing. I don't understand the question even right now.
So now the counselor starts to elaborate. Oh. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to let this happen for a second. I'm going to see where this goes. All right. And so he starts going, well, it means, like, would you like to be called he, him, or she, her, or they? And now I just jump, like, I see, like, my nephew now, he's looking at the counselor as he starts. And as he starts going through the things, he's like visibly like curling up in his chair, and now he's like looking at me like,
I don't know,
like,
which one of those
Uncle Justin, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, where are we? Yeah.
So I jump in. I'm like, he is fine.
Yeah,
he is fine. And I realized that my nephew didn't even know what's going on. Okay, he doesn't even know what this conversation is about. And herein lies the problem with me. Is that he doesn't even know what the conversation is about. I'm actually fine with the conversation if it were had with, for example, his fucking parents. Or if they had, like, sent an email ahead of time and said, hey, when your kid comes to camp, just make sure you let us know if they have a different
special
pronoun.
Yeah.
But they're asking every 8 to 10-year-old kid who's sitting in this chair what their gender pronoun is. And again, I'm not opposed to the question. I'm opposed to the environment.
Well, half of them don't even know what that means.
That's what I'm opposed to.
No.
And so now, here's what I'm worried about. What I think is that my nephew, it didn't even sink in. Like, I think he was confused as a motherfucker. And then I didn't know what was happening, and just it went like right out like water off a duck's back, right? But here's my concern. I got to pick this kid up on Friday. And what if it wasn't water off a duck's back? And he gets in the car, and he goes...
Best camp ever.
Hey, Uncle Justin, what the fuck was that thing about the he and the she and the they and the don't? And I'm going to be like... Ask your dad, bro. I'm not even opening this can. I don't want to have this conversation. I'm his uncle, and I'm not the one to have this conversation.
Talk to him about it. I'm a doctor.
You're a doctor. Again, guys, I'm not opposed to this conversation.
No,
I'm opposed to this environment.
No.
Every 10-year-old who goes to camp now?
No, that's weird. Now he's in camp, and people are going to be called, her, him, or whatever they choose.
Shims.
He's going to see that in action, right?
Well,
he'll be confused.
God, and he will be. I guess at least then there's some context.
Yeah, there'll be context.
Because at least then there's a child who
might be able to tell you what it's about.
The child could say it to him, right? Like, then at least there's some context. Yeah. But here, I know that this little kid from Utah, my nephew, this is like the first time he's ever heard this, and I'm feeling like I don't think this is the right place for it to be the first time he's ever heard that some children or people might like to be called something other than you think that they might traditionally. And I was kind of freaked out by the whole experience, which, by the way, leads me to say I do not want to be a parent.
No,
what a mess this is.
Another reason.
Oh, my God, what a mess. But I'm feeling bad for this kid because I'm going, okay, either it just went like in one ear or out the other, or his mind was just blown. Like, wait a minute, what? Like, why? Huh?
Who knows? You may pick him up, and he'll have his own pronoun already.
And that's
he'll
fine.
be like a boss.
And you know what? God bless him.
He'll go back
I
to
hope
the East
so.
Coast and be all like,
oh, yeah, he'd go back to my brothers, and he'd be like,
I got a new pronoun, bro.
Yeah. My brother's like, oh, my God. So...
What's the pronoun?
I just felt... I don't know. I'm not trying to make a political statement about this. It's not how I feel at all.
No, it's not about the place. It's just
I actually just felt that, like, the context, like, the environment was really strange. Right. And is that now the thing? Like, every 8-year-old kid or 10-year-old kid's going to get asked this everywhere they go, even if they've never had the conversation at home? Like, I'm telling you, the look on this kid's face was like, I have never been so confused in my life. What did you just ask me?
What camp was this, by the way?
Okay, good question.
Good question.
It was
everybody's wearing clothes?
It was a nudist camp for children.
One Abby's never going to go to.
No, it's a great camp.
I was immediately thinking about Abby.
It's a fantastic camp.
She just needs to know her pronoun, that's all.
It's his second. By the way, most adults don't even know what a pronoun is.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
Right? And you're asking...
It's he, she, or it.
And some other things. A great camp. I think I'm going to have a talk with them when I go back. And just recommend, like,
others
hey,
have had that
I'm
talk,
not opposed to you asking
uncle?
this question, but could you ask it via the pre-application?
Yeah.
So that the child is in the privacy of his or her
and then
or
maybe reference an article
home.
that explains what it is or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should be on the application.
Choose your pronoun
definitely.
wisely by
check the box.
Ron Hubbard.
What if I had kept my mouth shut? I should have done that. What if I let
I often ask myself that.
What if I let these two strangers, this 10-year-old and this camp counselor who is maybe 16, continue this conversation about what his gender pronoun is? I maybe should have done that for my own amusement to find out how much further that conversation would have gone.
Oh, man. That could be interesting.
I screwed up. I should have turned on the recorder and let that happen.
Are you picking him up?
Yeah, I'm picking him up Friday.
We'll bring the recorder.
Well, but now it's over. Like, now they're all kumbaya all week.
No,
it's
you
fine.
have to like, hey, single them out. Hey, how'd this go?
Yeah.
What's your pronoun, dude? I know you started this pronoun end of the week. What's your pronoun?
I do hope so. I hope he comes. I hope he goes back to his parents in Utah and he's like, hey, guys, it's why you call me they from now on. And,
them.
I don't know.
Nice.
All right, I just had to get it off my chest.
I know.
That is a weird experience.
Yes, I
That's how you
noticed.
It
described
was so weird.
That's a weird experience.
Oh, yeah.
It was very strange.
We have a phone call.
Oh.
We do?
Yeah, you're.
A prank?
Apparently, you have a female cousin, which I never knew about.
Oh?
But you also have. I'm sorry. Oh, they didn't actually say they were female. I'm probably like violating them.
You could be getting this wrong.
Whatever. Anyway, they're from Chechnya.
Oh!
Yeah.
You mean Latka?
Sure.
Hello.
Latka, is it you?
Hello. Yes, then.
Latka.
Love you.
How are you on phone?
I traveled to another country to call you. I wanted to make sure you were still alive.
There are no phones in Chechnya. There's only Morse code that we do with rock.
Yes, I know, but you weren't answering my Morse code, so I had to call.
Too much click.
Oh, my God. After last week, I said if we have any Chechnyan listeners, I forgot about Cousin Latka.
Hello. I'm glad you remembered me. You never tried to contact me, so I call you. This is the only way.
In Chechnya, there are no memories because there's nothing worth memorizing.
Yes, we tried to forget. This is the goal.
Now, Latka is great at advice. Okay, if you ever need advice, on life, okay, for example, Latka, my call screener Bevo here is having a tough time. She has to move out of one house and into another. What would you say?
Oh, well, in Chechnya we have no houses, so unfortunately, in this case, I'm not qualified to give advice. However,
yes,
if we had houses, I would cry with joy just to be able to have two options. You should be thankful. Bevo, be thankful you have two houses to choose from. Congratulations. I am crying for you.
Well, thank you. I don't actually have two choices, though.
In Chechnya, if we move from one house to another, it's because house number one caught fire, and we move in with family next door. And by the way, family is goat shed.
I do not think that there are two houses in Chechnya.
I heard one house only has three walls and one burned down.
In all of Chechnya, there is not two houses. Next.
Next. It is not what you would call house. You lean cardboard box against wall, you crawl under it, you hope that the rain stays away, that it does not snow.
Latka.
You should be grateful. Next. Next question.
Yes. Tasty, what do you need advice on in your life?
Financial advice. If I was in Chechnya, what would be a great way to make money? Could I open a brewery in Chechnya?
Great.
Oh, well, in Chechnya we have no money, so unfortunately this is other subject I have no qualifications to advise you on.
Don't make a
So
product,
you should be grateful that you need financial advice.
Yeah.
Next.
I like it.
You know,
we're going to be really grateful here tonight.
I have another question that I think you might be able to help with.
Yeah.
I'm experiencing
All right,
a lot
let's
of
hear it.
pain. How do you deal with pain in Chechnya?
In Chechnya, there's nothing but pain. In other words, we call it life. You're dealing with life. We wake up, pain. We sleep, pain. Welcome to life in Chechnya.
Pain.
Next.
We are happy to be alive. If you experience pain, you wake up, you say, I am still alive. I'm so happy.
That's right. Happy. We're happy to be in pain. If we wake up, we say, I'm in pain. Our brothers say, God bless you. Welcome to life.
Welcome to life. You are alive. Congratulations. You are welcome. Pain.
Yes.
Pain.
I'm
This is
sorry.
life. You are alive.
Now ride your goat 600 miles to see your mother. That's what happens.
Yes, please. She hasn't seen you since you were born.
Since you were next. That's right. Doc, anything you need advice on? Chechnyan advice.
Doc, you need advice. I give you some advice.
I was wondering just the best way to use the elk. There's only one elk in Chechnya.
Oh.
The single elk.
Well, there's one elk in Chechnya. You have to sign up in advance. You have to walk 700 miles to sign up. There is one piece of paper. You write your name, and maybe one day you live long enough to use elk to help you
For example,
To help
Latka
you
signed
get
up.
somewhere other than Chechnya.
Latka signed up for Elk 7 years ago for this phone call to take it to other country for one phone with single phone. She waited in line for 18 hours to make this call to this show. This is Chechnya.
I have had to pee for 24 hours. There is nothing I can do. I had to call cousin Justin to make sure he's still alive.
Ugh, I would say God bless you, but everybody in Chechnya knows there is no God. So
There is no God. Not in Chechnya.
You cannot afford God.
Latka, I'm sorry
We
you
cannot
almost...
afford God.
We can't afford God, and I'm sorry you almost pissed yourself for this program.
It's so embarrassing. I do for you, though, Justin. I love you.
You always love. Next.
I always love you. Next.
Moskowitz, back in the studio. Do you have anything you need advice on?
Yeah, like, I guess if I were to paint something, create some artwork in Chechnya, what would be my subject?
Oh, my God.
Well, all of our paint, it's theoretical because we have no art supply. So we make art in our mind.
Conceptual.
It is
Yes.
conceptual. We have to pretend. So we
largest
look at
gross domestic product in Chechnya is imagination.
imagination.
But most of that is exported.
Yeah.
Do you know how to make Chechnyan sandwich?
How?
You put 2 pieces of bread together, and you imagine what could be between them. And you eat it. It is the best sandwich you will ever have. I promise you should try it.
Oh, you eat it as if you're at the French Laundry. I've heard of this place. You just pretend it's the best, most gourmet sandwich you've ever had.
I don't know what you speak, these French or this laundry, but yes, I'm sure it sounds great.
It's like
Chechnyan sandwich, best sandwich you ever have in your entire life. I promise you. You imagine.
Now,
imagination.
Cousin Latka forgot one thing. 2 pieces of bread takes 2 days to acquire. You get 1 piece on Monday and 1 piece on Tuesday. So it's not until Wednesday that you imagine sandwich.
Oh, yes, and I assumed that everyone knew this, but apparently your wonderful life in America, you just get 2 slices of bread whenever you want.
All
Congratulations. You should be grateful. Next.
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 Latka, it's always lovely to speak with you.
Always. What you speak of this always. I have waited so long for our second conversation to make sure you're still alive.
I've not
So
spoken
happy.
to Latka since she was 2.5.
I am going to be able to sleep for the first time in years just hearing your voice. Thank you, thank you.
What will you sleep on, Latka?
Oh, the ground, of course. What do you sleep on, Cousin Justin?
Well, here in America, they have a thing called bed, mattress.
No.
It's
No way.
springy.
That is a thing of imagination.
It's
This
like
is ridiculous.
It
This
is
is
like
ridiculous.
it's like sleeping on cloud.
My rubles are running out in my payphone. I cannot be talking of these fictional myths called bed.
Funny thing of Chechnyan payphone, it starts cursing at you when you run out of coins, out of rubles. It says, "Go!"
Yes, and you might not live. You might not live. You risk life.
He's this large, hairy man with a cell phone.
Consequence of going over on payphone is bullet in head.
Oh, yes.
You
You
can
have to
afford
be
bullets?
afraid. You have to be afraid.
That's how we survive, Latka.
This is how we live. You should be grateful. I love you, Cousin Justin.
Latka, it's been so wonderful to talk to you. I love you.
Oh, I love you. Good night.
Please do not die on way back to Chechnya.
I will try. You know how we do.
I do know how. If you die, I will not be
All
sad.
right.
I'm already sad.
Say hello to your mother. Make sure she's still alive.
I will make sure. I call her.
Okay. Kisses and hugs
Love
from
you.
Cousin Latka.
Bye,
Love
Latka.
you.
Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Cousin Latka, everybody.
Wow, what a voice from the past.
See? Yeah.
And great advice, too.
Oh, she's the best. I mean,
top notch.
Yeah, if you're ever
So relevant.
If you're ever feeling down, you call Cousin Latka. She will bring you right
you
up.
should be really fucked up there.
If you're ever You're feeling like, no, seriously, my baby has pneumonia and I have to move. In Chechnya, we embrace pneumonia. It's like breathing fresh air.
It's the monotony.
Our lungs never feel so good.
And lungs, yeah, because the rest of the time, it's more nuclear than that. All right, Cousin Latka, thank you for calling in. Doc, you want to do some feedback?
I would love some feedback right now, please.
I thought
in
you
Chesney, we don't have feedback.
That's exactly right. All right, we'll do some feedback here real quick, and then we'll wrap things up. This one is titled Beer, Freedom, and Nutters, which is interesting. Yeah, Blair, who's a sergeant in the Brewing Network Army, writes in, I'm in the South Padre Island for the holiday.
Ooh, I like those.
Where's that, Doc?
In the South Padre Sea.
Where's that?
I don't know.
Help me out. I'm an idiot. I'm there for the holiday and saw some jackass and star-spangled nutters walking along the beach in his Murica hat. After I swallowed a bit of vomit in the back of my mouth, I laughed and thought of you guys, of course, because of our nutters and such. Seriously, thanks for the great laughs, knowledge, and advice over the years. The whole scene would not be the same without you asshats and Bevo. And that's Blair, sergeant in the BN Army. All right, thank you for the feedback. Paul writes in, hey, this is thanks. Hi, guys. Love the interview with Beavertown Brewery a few weeks back. That, of course, was the brewery out of London. Yeah. Actually, I'm not even sure if they're right in London. We don't have any decent craft beer and brewing podcasts in the UK, and it was great to hear about one of our local craft breweries. So thanks. I missed that one, which I was bummed about because I'm a big Zeppelin fan. And,
we didn't talk about Zeppelin, but
we don't talk about that.
I know he didn't want to talk to. Actually, he's cool about it, but he didn't want to talk. You talked to, like you mentioned that the guy's the son of.
I don't know if we even mentioned.
Are you fucking serious? Legends? All right, now I'm pissed off because I had an entire conversation with JP. All right, now I'm going to get. This is going to get ugly. I had an entire conversation about JP about how to respectfully, without just putting him in his father's shadow, bring up the fact that Logan Plant, the founder and brewmaster of Beavertown Brewery, is Robert Plant's son. You're telling me he never brought it up?
Well, not directly.
No. I mean, we talked a little bit about him.
We talked about his musical background.
He had a little bit of music background, but no.
It never once was said.
Never once.
All right, here's what pisses me off about this. Now I have to talk about this. I was the one who mentioned that Logan might be sensitive to, it's not all about his dad.
That got passed on.
I interviewed him the year before at Firestone, and at the Firestone Walker Invitational. Yeah. And like I do, I always know when there are potential sensitive subjects, so I usually bring it up before the interview. And I brought it up there, and I just said, hey, do you want me to mention that? And he said, nah, it'd probably be cool if you didn't. And, my thought was, like, we're at a beer festival. He's going to get mobbed, like, with people, right? Yeah. So we left it alone, right? But I know that he's not, like, adamantly opposed to
well, it happens, he can't. It happens all the time, I'm sure.
But here's where I come in, and my respect for radio and our listeners. I'm fine with respecting the guest and not making it all about his dad, right?
But you could have mentioned.
But I'm not going to dupe my listeners and not let them know that we're talking to Robert Plant's son. And so I had this conversation with JP. He's like, yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up. And I said, no. You need to bring it up. You need to bring it up tactfully and in a way that doesn't. And then move on. But you have to bring it up because. What are we going to do? We're going to treat our listeners like they're stupid? Like they don't know that this is Robert Plant's son? Yeah. So I went through this whole thing about how it could be talked about, which was basically just to say, hey, your dad's Robert Plant, and so you must have been raised around music. Why did you choose beer over music? Boom, piece of cake. Now it's in Logan's.
Yeah, it's on record, and we're done with it.
You're telling me that it wasn't even mentioned?
I don't think so.
No,
I really don't think
it was almost treated like
rack my brain.
It was treated like it was taboo.
Which is why I had the conversation with JP about it, so that it wouldn't be taboo.
No, I think it was taken as it is taboo.
But I described how it wasn't and how it could be addressed.
Oh.
So we treated our listeners like idiots. Did
you mention it to our co-hosts? or just JP?
Well, he's the one who had to guide the conversation. He's the host. He's the one who has to put it that way. I gave him the words. Write them down.
Oh, man.
I'm telling you, it bothers me because of our listeners. Because we're treating them like idiots.
Right.
Well, let's just call them back.
I mean, they can treat us like idiots. That happens all the time.
Give him a call.
I'm right on top of that.
Can you get that? Can you get back on the line? Because,
Are you guys sure that it was not mentioned at all?
Well, the intent was for it not to be.
It was.
Was it a conversation ahead of time?
No.
Kind of, yeah. It was a hush-hushy, kind of hush-hushy.
we weren't to bring it up.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Sorry.
Your head is just about to explode all over the place.
This is turning into like a production meeting or something.
So hard.
Was talk about the beer. Don't talk about
people
his
listening.
dad.
Justin is shaking his head and getting red.
Do you know why I took?
He's on camera.
Do you know why I took a break from this program? It's this kind of bullshit.
So that you didn't have this feeling?
Well, if you wouldn't have taken a break, you wouldn't have been exploding right now.
Yeah, you'd have handled it.
Think about that one.
It's this kind of bullshit. You know what? We're into this thing for now. We're going to go into this. We're into this thing for 11 years now.
Yeah.
Are we not professionals? Let me ask you this question.
That's why we didn't.
And Bevo, I'm going to ask you. I'm asking everybody this question, and I'm being serious right now. I'm not ranting. When you think about when you think about what you do here, do you consider yourself a professional?
Yeah.
You do, right, Tasty?
Yeah, right.
God damn it, I hope so.
I mean, I'd be very good at it.
You are good at it.
I'd like to get better every time I do it.
Well, that's what a professional does.
And, if there's bad radio, I want to try to fix it. Even if I can't.
This is what a professional does. Right. Let me tell you, you've been here long enough. You know the ropes, that you are a professional, and a professional keeps trying to get better.
Yeah.
Doc, what do you think about when you... And I'm being serious. Give me an honest answer. When you come in here, do you consider yourself, is this a professional thing? Or, you don't... it's just whatever. There's no wrong answer here.
No, this is my life. I try to get better every day of my life, period. I learn from every mistake, and I try to make it better the next time. Every time. So
that's how I feel about it.
But also we got told that... Don't broach that subject.
And that's fine. You should know. I told him that too.
But
I told him how to...
No, we didn't get that one.
Slip it in.
No, all we told was we don't do that. So actually professionals, and knowing what big Zeppelin fans me and Tasty are, God damn, we held back.
Yeah, I want to know if he can cover any of his songs. He's got his guitar there.
But that's what I asked him to do. Now, that part was what I asked.
That was fine. We didn't know.
Because I would have I had gone off on a tangent. So nobody go off on a tangent, but I said, you have to address that the man is a plant.
Yes.
Otherwise, we're treating our listeners
and just like you said he should do it. Mention it at the beginning of a sentence.
Yeah.
And then move on, and that's all. We wouldn't have to mention anything about it on this side at all. That's all.
And that's fine. That's how it should have been.
Fine.
It could have been done so many different ways.
Yeah,
it could have been I could have slipped up and said something, and then JP could have jumped on that. Doc, don't say that kind of thing because of this and that. No, it could have been so professional. Oh, oops, it wasn't.
All right, then I come in here today, and I have two different brewery guests. And it's 4:30 in the afternoon, which is an hour and a half to showtime, if my math is correct. No. Yeah, thank you. An hour and a half to showtime. I don't have any information. I don't even know the name of the South African brewer. Or where, by the way. I don't know if you knew this, but South Africa is not a city.
Yeah, it's good.
No, it's called a country.
I don't know. I didn't. Okay, but our procedure here at the Brewing Network, because we are professionals, is that we have an outline and we know we have a little background, we have a pre-interview, we have this whole thing. And this is why I'm on vacation, guys. I'm checked out. Because Bevo knows this more than anybody because she gets my shit. Bevo has to listen to me and listen to me and listen to me.
Every day.
She actually, at least she pretends to be interested. This is probably why she has to hear all of it, because she pretends to be interested in what I'm saying when I go, I can't go on like this. I can't do this. We're professionals in here, and we know these simple things. And then, not only do we know the simple things, like give me a map, but if I spend the time like with this Logan Plant interview, where I actually say, here's exactly what I want you to say. And then it doesn't happen. I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm fucking out of here. What did I say to Bevo? I told Bevo today, I said, if it's ever 4:30 again, and I don't have an outline of my guests, like I don't have a background, like
who the fuck are these people?
I'm not quitting. I will cancel the show. I will cancel that night show because here's what happened. I'm the buffoon who has to sit here and ask dumb questions without any background, right?
Well, the questions are better if you have background. But
you
did pretty good.
Well, I appreciate that, okay. But I'm tired of it because that's what I've been doing since 2005.
I think we're doing okay until you come unglued, and then all of a sudden we're not professional anymore.
Well, here's the thing.
Also,
I'm not even angry. Like, this isn't one of my normal meltdowns. This is me pointing out when people ask, hey, what's going on? Oh, sorry you have to have a job. Sorry you have to work. Like, people make up their own assumptions about why I'm a little, burnt out about the BN. I'm giving you some specific examples right now of what happens. Look, guys, we've been into this for a long time. Yeah. And I'm telling everybody right now, including our listeners, we're either going to start acting like professionals or we're going to stop doing the program. I mean, what's the right? Now, we had a great time today and a great show. It's fine. But we did that because I came in and rescued the fucking thing. Well, then what's the point in having staff? I could just have the two of you come in every week and we just throw a guest at me. I'll just do some fucking...
Wing it. What's your name again?
Can we do that?
Or we could... And here's where I think our listeners will agree with me, even if they're uncomfortable with this whole rant. Here's where I think they'll agree. And this is where I think you'll hear this rant is different. Or we could excel at our job. We could come in here and treat all of this with respect and excel at our job. And when I map something out and you say, yes, I will do that, do it.
I'm right there with you because you see me map it out, and when it doesn't go according to the map,
you flip your shit, man.
Flip my shit.
Yeah.
It's like I basically just told you what to do and what to say.
Yeah.
I didn't say ad lib.
Yeah.
And now we're in the middle of shit.
And I'm not flipping my shit right now. It bothers me to not be. We're professionals, man. We're good at what we do. And so I'm not going to stick around for it. Or I have to. What do I got to do? I got to clean house. Do I got to?
Yeah. I got to. They're going to roll.
I mean, I might have to clean house finally.
Ooh, got to scare some people. You fire one, the rest are scared. It works out. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, Justin. Let's do some feedback, please.
I really am not. Can you tell the difference in this rant? I'm speaking from the heart here about how I feel about the BN. I want us to get on with it.
Well, then we need to have a little meeting, don't we?
All right. Here we go.
People scared. She got the... Whatever.
Bevo had to hear it earlier already.
You got ranted on?
No.
Oh, not ranted on? Bevoed on?
No, I didn't.
You walked
learned.
We all learned. I just learned something now.
Am I a terrible leader, Beaver? Like, when I have to give that feedback, is it like the worst? Or do I... Because I feel like I was like...
not at all. You
calmingly saying, look, this is what we do here.
Calm?
Right. No, he was very calm. And
earlier.
And I'm not going to make any excuses about tonight's show and what went on about it. But I will just say that going forward, whether I'm the one planning the guests or not, Justin's going to have what he needs because...
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm just going to take it upon myself to make sure everything is done, whether it was my responsibility to get it to him or not.
That's an attitude of a professional.
There you
go. Right.
This is what I'm asking for.
Like last week when I didn't feel like the food was done the way it should have been done, the food was here today.
Yeah.
Before the show started.
Oh, I noticed this.
Like, I took care of it.
This shit rolled in early.
Like, you need to learn from situations, and I have learned.
So I think the new deal is, if you act like a professional, I'll keep showing up. And that's the deal. I'm not just you, Bevo. That is the proverbial you. If you guys don't, I'm not showing up. And I'm canceling shows. And I'm giving money back to the sponsors because I'm not going to take their money for a subpar show. This is the new deal.
It's the new deal.
Okay. We've made a new deal.
All right.
Let's do some more feedback. All right, dear Brewcasters, before I get to the main point, I want to point out that every other week you receive an email from a listener who has won a Homebrew Award, which is always followed by obligatory applause by the Brewcasters.
Yeah, I know that. Yay.
You know, it's not really obligatory, actually. We're genuinely...
No, I'm a homebrewer. I've won awards.
Right?
I want to do something, yeah.
I do the same thing at every award show we ever go to. I'm the first one clapping. But anyway, I get his point.
All right.
And then the listener, lauding the BN for how much they've helped them. So he says, just once...
It never gets old, by the way.
I agree.
Just saying.
He says, just once, I think it would be hilarious and probably horrible at the same time for you to read the listener's email and then when they announce that they've won something, the Brewcasters break out with booze on the poor, unsuspecting bastard. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that would be fun, more odd than funny, I think.
Yeah, it would be odd. Plus, remember how long I complained about the Brewing Network Club being booed at NHC for
Well, that might be some irony there if we
I remember
booed.
that vividly.
Do you remember how quiet and cheerful it was this year when Quaff won?
I do.
That was cool. You know what that was? That was a bunch of homebrewers acting like professionals.
Exactly.
I mean, my rant is basically the same, I guess, to those fucking assholes. I mean, the people who booed. And he wrote some other things about...
You know who you were.
People winning and stuff, but whatever. All right. Here we go.
Justin really doesn't hate you.
Actually, if you booed, don't ever come tell me that you booed.
Don't come rolling up saying, I was one of those booers. Because, he doesn't know how to punch people, but he'll punch you.
Not even, no, it won't be. I'm not physically violent unless I have to be. But I would just be more I pretty much smile at everybody. But I'd have no smiles for you. I have no respect.
I have zero smiles.
I have zero smiles. None more smiles.
None more smiles, huh?
Get out of Chechnya, they don't have smiles.
In Chechnya, we've never seen smile. Some idiot smiled once in photograph. He was shot. He looked like crazy person. What would you be smiling about?
Nobody knew what he was doing. Of course they shot him.
Nobody. Why are you showing all of your shitty teeth? We have no idea.
No, tooth.
Yeah. Next. Okay. Let's see. This listener sent from my iPhone writes in about a live streaming issue. Hey, guys, I've been listening since your inception, and I've been having a problem for several months listening live. Is it my phone or has something changed? So it sounds like he's talking about the new app.
I thought he was talking about Inception.
Guess what? I fixed the app. The app has been broken for a little while. Unfortunately, the streaming company that we use never notifies me when they update our app. And every time they update it in iTunes, it breaks.
Oh.
I now have a new rep. I've gone and I've yelled at them also about being professionals, and they fixed our app for us. So we have a brand new app, even if you have the old one. In fact, I thought you had to delete the old one, but today I just updated mine. So just update your app. It should work. If that doesn't work, go to the iTunes store and search BN Mobile, and the iTunes app is back, and it should be working perfectly. I tested it before the show, and it was working great. The Android app is just waiting for approval. Or it might be there because Android gives a little bit less communication, and I don't have an Android phone to test it. So either way, whether in the Google Play Store or iTunes, just search BN Mobile. And I know it works on iTunes, and if it doesn't work yet on Android, it will soon. Both of our apps have been updated. My apologies for that lapse in service, but everything should be good now.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's unprofessional.
It was. It definitely was. All right. Lester writes in.
Lester?
Yeah.
Your parents suck.
Right? I thought the same thing. I always pre-read the emails, and I'm like, oh, Lester.
Dude. Yeah. Your parents did that.
But then I wasn't going to say anything, but you did it first. So.
Usually he would be Les. But Les... He spells it all the way out.
All right. This is about a new brewery in San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, he's close?
I'm sure Tasty's heard of it. Bare Bottle Brewing?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Lester writes in, hey, guys, a longtime listener and one of the folks who's followed their dreams to open up a new craft brewery in San Francisco. We just opened a 20-barrel brew house in a 17,000-square-foot warehouse in the Bernal Heights district, neighborhood of San Francisco. Not far from Coffee TV 20, which is where the Brewing Network made its TV Riches.
Award-winning show.
Thank you. Oh, Emmy-nominated.
Emmy-nominated.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Really?
It's nominated several
many
times.
Oh, you wouldn't believe the categories.
Oh, yeah.
So many categories.
Lifestyle.
Writing. Oh, my God.
Writing.
So written so well.
Director.
Best screenplay.
Oh, man.
Some acting awards.
Wow.
Were, I think, considered, too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have an IMDb page?
I should, but I don't. No.
Yeah, Bernal Heights. Yeah, I know that place.
So,
been there.
They say we just opened a 20-barrel brew house, and they're longtime homebrewers, BJCP certified judges, and their head brewer, Cortland, is formerly of Drake's and EJ Fair. I like it. I've also judged with Nathan Smith several times. It's a resume piece. Judge Nathan. All right, here's the important stuff. He says, I want to let you know about something that may be of interest. One of the key things we do is crowdsource great beers from great homebrewers. This Saturday, we released the 3 finalist beers for our Muir Woods IPA contest. We asked San Francisco Homebrew Guild to create an IPA that evocative of the Muir Woods. We got 26 entries, did a BJCP competition, and chose the top 3 scorers when we brewed a 20-barrel batch with the finalist homebrewers. So now we're releasing all 3 at our tap room and letting the public vote on which is best.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Whichever wins gets packaged and distributed, and the winning recipe printed on the bottle and 4-pack carrier. So I don't know where to find out more info. He didn't give me where to find out more information. Just said, let me know if you have more questions, which...
we have a lot of them.
Yeah, mostly just where can people go find out, because...
Well, their website would have events, I assume.
All right, so look up Bare Bottle Brewing over, you can do that on Google, or if JP was here, on Bing.
Yeah.
Go check it out because, I want to know when we go get to vote on the 4 finalists.
I want to be a voter, yeah.
That's pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
I love breweries that incorporate homebrewers. Did I tell you, Tasty, the brewery that we had our 11th anniversary party at?
Yeah.
In
the Incubator Brewery?
In Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So they did a collaboration beer with a homebrewer.
Yeah.
And he gets a cut.
No, they gave him the check that night. Remember?
They did, right?
Yeah.
They gave him a check for $1,000.
$1,000.
Like his first royalty check.
Righteous bucks.
Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
When I went on my site visit, they were telling me about that and just saying, hey, we do these collaboration beers, but we thought, we're bringing the guy in. It's his recipe. We want to cut him a check. And he's getting paid for all the beer.
How about that? Yeah.
I thought that was pretty sweet. It's not a bunch of money, but...
There's got to be some California law against that, though, right?
No, probably.
But really, the check is secondary to me to the claim, to the fame, or the especially if you're trying to advance the brand.
That's true, but it's respectful.
Yes, very respectful.
He was smiling pretty good.
Yeah,
everybody in the room cheered on that.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Because you're right, no homebrewer's going to get rich off that, and it is secondary. But I do think it's a respectful thing to do because there's a lot of marketing involved when you bring a homebrewer on.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's the product itself when you bring the homebrewer on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I thought it was a nice thing to do.
Very much so.
I've had the Cortland, the brewer there, is doing a great job. I had 4 of his beers he was pouring at the Sierra Nevada Beer Camp Festival down at Pier 35 a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
They were all excellent beers.
Okay.
Nice.
One thing I very much noticed.
Well, we're going to have to go down there and make a little trip.
Yeah.
Go on our way to South Africa.
Well, when those 3 brewers on, we'll make a little voting trip.
Sounds like a deal.
All right.
Hey, so, I mentioned our Hop Grenade anniversary party, right?
August 7th?
So Faction is brewing us an anniversary beer.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
I'm such a dummy usually. I never reach out to people for this stuff. But we were thinking about it this time, and I thought, I'm going to call Roger. How cool would it be if Roger brewed us a beer? So I called him up, short notice and all. And he's doing it. So he's brewing the beer on Friday, Tasty.
Okay.
So we don't have any say in the beer anymore. I gave him carte blanche. I just said, brew us a beer.
That's pretty much what happens.
Well,
I did a collab with him.
He asked me. He was going to let me, but I said, dude, I just want you to brew a beer.
Yeah, I want to fuck up a beer. Yeah, he's the best.
Well, what do you want?
He did ask what I... Of course, what I asked. I asked for a pale ale, but I said, you don't have to do that. But I said, look, because we could call it Hop Grenade something, so it should probably be like...
Something hoppy?
Hop Forward or something. Yeah. But I also then... So I don't even know what he's brewing. But what I'm telling you is if you want to come by...
I'll go down there Friday.
On Friday. So I don't know the time yet, but it's going to be like midday because he's doing a double batch that day. He's doing something else in the morning. Then he's doing Hop Grenade beer. Some of our staff, I think, is going to go down and brew with him. I'm going to try to make it there after I pick up my nephew from gender camp. And then...
Gender altered.
All gender camp.
He could have a different step when he comes out of
That's fine. I'll be happy for him. I just felt that it should happen with his parents.
Yeah.
He might not even like beer anymore.
Not Moonbeam and Bunny Ranch or whatever their fucking name. I don't know. They all the camp. Like even when you walk in,
just mix genres real hard.
No, but I'm not even exaggerating. When you walk in, all the counselors, of course, have like a name. Like I think like Gummy Bear was the first one we met, and then it was like Bubble Booze. I don't know. They all had weird names. Anyhow, you get the idea. I'm going to pick up the kid from gender camp.
Yeah, we'll see you down there.
And I'm going to bring him to the brewery where we're going to brew some beer with Faction for Hop Grenade's second anniversary.
Excellent.
I thought that'd be fun.
Will be fun.
All right. Last thing before we go, don't forget about Adam and Eve. You can go to adamandeve.com right now. And I don't know. I think they're still giving away the...
Can we order stuff?
The special...
Yeah, the gift for him and her. The what is that gift there, Bevo?
Well, let's just do it. You get 50% off.
With a vibrator on it or something?
Oh, I think it's too special to even talk about here.
No, I think they...
I don't use that word.
It's a clit bumper.
Sure.
Yeah, it's that one. 50% off, 3 free adult DVDs, a free exclusive gift, which I just mentioned. Oh, wait, no. You get that free gift, and then to top it all off, Oh, wait, no, the free gift and then free shipping. So the whole thing is use coupon code BNARMY, that's BNARMY, at checkout. You get all this stuff, free shipping, the 50% off, the whole deal. And then you don't have to go to the creepy store down the road, which...
we all know where it is.
Yeah, I mean, really,
I know where it is.
It's really close to my house. But who wants to go in there? It's so weird because then you're like buying the thing and you're like, yeah, I'm into this.
Are they judging me? Are they judging me?
Stop looking at me.
Look at me. I know.
So, go look at whatever. Look what you're holding.
He's got like a tent going on in his pants. What's that about?
Yeah, it's so weird. It's
weird.
It's always awkward.
Yeah. So you feel so like dirty when you go in there.
You do.
I don't feel
even
so
like
dirty.
Parking. There's like a Marine West near ours, right?
Yeah.
So I always or actually there's a Harbor Freight too.
Yeah,
I'll go like park at the Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight, yeah.
And then I'll walk over to the. I'm not going to park in front of the thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was a long time ago. Now I just go to adamandeve.com.
It's so much easier.
Yeah.
They're not judgy.
Right.
No. There's not like a little bot that like jumps up on your screen and goes, hey, don't be into that. No, you can do whatever you want over at adamandeve.com. Use coupon code BNARMY.
Tomorrow's sort of a holiday of sorts.
What is it?
It's Amazon Prime Day.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
And if everybody clicks through the BN website for Amazon Prime and orders all those special, really low-priced items.
Order something.
We'll have like a BN day, that's for sure.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's being professional.
That is being a professional. Thanks for bringing that up, Tasty.
Sure.
It's a good point. Just hit the Amazon link right there on our homepage. You can do it in the UK and the US. You used to be able to do it in Canada, but I think the Canadians failed it. No, not in South Africa yet. I'll look into it. Great idea. That's a great way to support us. Are we done, Bevo? Have I finished all of our obligations?
You have completed your tasks.
Let me see. Let me look at the live reads.
You don't trust her?
I gave him the list, so he's still trusting me by looking at the list.
It's true. It's true.
Could be a fucked up list.
All right, we're going to get out of here.
It's on point.
I want to thank King Harbor Brewing Company for hanging out with us tonight
those guys are great.
and bringing us great beer. Adam Corolla for joining the program. Nice to speak with him as well.
Always, yeah.
Did a good job on the beer. And then, of course, we'd like to thank Marc over at Riot Beer in Capetown, South Africa.
So much, because we're going there. Going there.
It's only 6 months away. We're headed there.
They know it's summer somewhere.
Yeah, always.
Yes.
Maybe we'll go to Maui and then do a little
hook around.
Figure
what about Cousin Latka?
Oh, Latka. She'll be lucky to get out of Chechnya alive. But if she does, we take her to... She's swimming to South Africa right now, is what Bevo's saying. All right, so thanks to our guest. It was wonderful to speak with you. We'll see you next week where we have, let me see, another international brewery from Norway, Ostman Brewing Company. It's on Ostman or Ustman or something. We'll speak to them next week. So, yeah, we picked our nation's Independence Month to go nationwide. See you later.
Bye.